Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome to Football Live. An early edition today, don't worry, haven't overslept, it's not 3 o'clock. We are back at the earlier time today of 12:40 because we have Chelsea v Brentford to cover and Leeds United v Huddersfield. Both derby day, it's derby time o'clock here on Football Live. We have a London derby and a Yorkshire derby as well, both fast, both furious, and we're going to have to get into this one immediately. We're going to start at Stamford Bridge then. Chelsea v Brentford. Chelsea, they haven't won in their previous 12 league home games except against Luton. And as for Brentford, well, they beat Burnley last Sunday 3-0 to end a run of 6 Premier League games without a victory. So there's the two teams, Matt Smith, who need to change something. And so far, it's all been Chelsea.
Good afternoon, Josh. Good afternoon, Football Live listeners. Yes, you're right, Josh. It has been all Chelsea, and Chelsea have had the harder-earned chances, that's for sure. The half chance very early on in the opening sort of 10 minutes. Nicholas Jackson found himself very, very wide, sort of wide on the right-back position for Brentford's right-back position. And he's cut in into his right foot and he's swirled it right round the goal, but it's gone wide of the goal, past Mark Fleckham. So that was a half chance, and then about 3 minutes ago, Nodi Maduiki's on the right wing and he's just entering the Brentford box. He cuts onto his favoured left foot this time. They're getting chances in both ways, and this time Maduiki's hit the crossbar. So 10 minutes in, and Chelsea have had the better chances out and out. Brentford a little bit scrappy. They're having to rely on Aaron Hickey's sort of long throws, and it's getting a little bit scrappy from their end. But Chelsea just starting to come into it a little bit. It's 11 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0.
Thank you, Matt. And as for the team news today, then, what can you tell us about what Thomas Frank and Mauricio Pochettino have gone with today?
Well, Chelsea start with the back four. Robert Sanchez is in goal, as we always guessed. Axel Disasi at right back, Thiago Silva and Levi Colwill at centre back, with Marc Cucurella completing the back four. Moises Caicedo and Conor Gallagher as two holding midfielders. No space for Enzo Fernandez, neither on the bench either. Nodi Maduiki, Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling all behind Nicholas Jackson. Brentford have started with Mark Flecken in goal. They've got 5 at the back, we believe. Mads Roller-Slev as the right wing-back and Aaron Hickey as the left wing-back. Christoph Ayer, Nathan Collins and Ethan Pinnock as 3 centre-backs. Matthias Jensen, Christian Norgard, the captain, and Vitaly Janelt as 3 central midfielders, and 2 interchangeable forwards of Brian Mbeumo and Johan Wissa. So Chelsea are, they've got their sort of little bit of confusion at the back. Axel Disasi didn't know whether he was going to start as a centre-back, and Levi Cole was maybe going to get pushed out to left-back, But Pochettino has started with Disasi, who's quite a unit. You'd maybe expect him to be alongside Thiago Silva, but Disasi starts at right back.
Thank you, Matt. We'll have to leave you because we have our first goal of the afternoon.
The goals, powered by NairoBet.
And it's not come in the Premier League like some of you Chelsea fans listening in today would have hoped. No, it has come in the Championship. However, I think it may have been ruled out. That is what it looks like right now. Leeds did have the goal in the back of the net, but it seems like the goal has been scrapped out and we're back to all square at Ellen Road. So right now the scores are Leeds 0, Huddersfield 0. And for that fixture, if you're not familiar, you really should be. These two teams haven't faced since 2020, but there's so much history packed into this derby. Both fans absolutely hate each other. I can imagine it's an incredibly hostile atmosphere right now for those Huddersfield players and fans inside Ellen Road. The last time these two teams met, actually, Huddersfield did the double over Leeds in their promotion season. It's a Huddersfield team who have got new managership. They've got managed now by Darren Moore, who replaced Neil Warnock before the international break. Things haven't gone to plan since the week break for the international fixtures. They've won 1, lost 1. As for Leeds, they've got the exact same record, winning 1, losing 1. But for Leeds, they're on the other side of the Championship. They're currently in 3rd place, but a long way off the automatic promotion spots of Leicester and Ipswich, of those two teams which are occupying them right now. And we are going to go to Matthew Temporal now to tell us about that disallowed goal.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone from Ellen Road. There has just been a goal disallowed. It was Joel Pirot who had the ball at his feet from a free kick, a wide free kick from Crescencio Somerville. The ball took a few ricochets, fell to the feet of Pirot, tapped it in to the corner of the goal, but the linesman did put his flag up pretty much straight away and the goal was ruled out. It has been Leeds who have had the upper hand in this game so far. Crescencio, Somerville causing lots of problems on that left-hand side for Leeds United, and at the moment it seems like just a matter of time before the Whites go 1-0 up at Ellen Road, but at the moment it's still Leeds 0, Huddersfield 0.
Thank you, Matthew. The two Matts actually leading us so far today, Matt Smith and Matthew Temporal. That is not going to be one I'm going to want to get confused this weekend. Of course, though, we do want to keep you updated around the scores across Europe as well. But there's no games taking place apart from the two that we're covering for you right now on Football Live. The only one we're missing is Southampton. Birmingham. Southampton are winning that game 1-0. But as for the rest, I mean, we've got France in Ligue 1. We've got Reims v Lorient. That's coming up at 4 o'clock. We've got Lens v Nantes as well. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. Then in the Bundesliga as well at 2:30. There's Augsburg v Wolfsburg. We've got Bayern v Darmstadt. We'll be covering that one for you. It will be Ethan Gardner covering that game at the Allianz Stadium. So if you're interested in seeing how Bayern Munich are faring with Harry Kane in the line, make sure you're listening in for that one. Then at 2:30, we've got Werder Bremen v Union Berlin, Mönchengladbach against Heidenheim, Stuttgart against Hoffenheim, and RB Leipzig v FC Cologne. That's coming up at 5:30. We're not covering those games, but I will be keeping you up to date on the scores if you are interested in them. As for in the Serie A, we have got Sassuolo v Bologna. That's at 2 o'clock. And then Lecce v Torino at 5. And Juventus v Verona. That's coming up at 7:45. A new look Juventus team who are adjusting to life in the Serie A, as maybe not the Giants anymore. AC Milan and Inter Milan and Napoli have really knocked them off their perch. In the Eredivisie, we've got Heerenveen versus Heracles. That's at 5:45, but the rest of the games are not till later. In Nigeria, in the NPFL, we've got Bendel v Aqua United, Enugu v Kano. That's coming up at 4, and Gombe v Plateau. That is also, all those games are coming up at 4 o'clock. In the Saudi professional, in the Saudi Pro League as well, we've got Afa v Al Shabab. That is at 4. We've got Al Fiha v Al Nasir. Cristiano Ronaldo back in action once again. That again is at 4. And then we've got Al Wida v Al Etifak. That is coming up at 7. And then in the La Liga as well, Almeria v Las Palmas at 1. Barcelona v Real Madrid. That is one of the headline games for us here on Football Live. It is the El Clasico. You do not meet many ends better than this. It's maybe a game that's lost its sparkle, a game that's lost just the interest around it, but these two teams have reinvented themselves. We're in a modern era of the El Clasico, aren't we? And really, I really cannot wait for this game. Jude Bellingham for Real Madrid, Xavi leading Barcelona with his fresh young team. It's going to be a game that is very mouth-watering. It's going to be a game that I can't wait to see how that one plays out. Then at 5:30, it's Mallorca via Getafe. And at 8 o'clock, it is Cadiz v Sevilla. Today's show does end at 5:20, so we have got the earlier finish in order to cover Brentford, Chelsea v Brentford today. So just so you're aware, you might be listening until 6 or 7 o'clock and think, where's Football Live? That is because we have finished. And I said, it is to cover the Chelsea v Brentford game, and that is where we're going to go right now to Matt Smith, because there has been an injury to Madueke, the player that hit the crossbar early on, and unfortunately he's now gone down with an injury. Is it serious, Matt, or is he off the field now and playing on?
It's not as serious as first thought. It was sort of a little bit off the ball. I think he might have received a little bit of a knock from Aaron Hickey, I believe. Aaron Hickey slipped over and he's gone a bit, it's accidental. It studs up and it's hurt Madueke, and he was down for a matter of minutes. He didn't receive any treatment. He picked himself up, but it looked like a nasty one. Those sore ones that you get in the back of the foot and the Achilles. So Chelsea, back to full strength. Madueke's back. He's holding it a little bit gingerly, but we'll have to see how that goes. It's 18 minutes played here. Chelsea are being very, very patient. They're waiting for those chances to come through. It's very difficult to break down this Brentford back five, because every time Chelsea have the ball going forward, it is a back five. Aaron Hickey drops in and Ruaslev drops in and makes it a bank of 5. It's very, very difficult. So Chelsea have to be patient. 63% possession they've got. If they're finding it quite difficult, they're maybe going down the wings with the likes of Sterling and Palmer, and Disasi's getting involved down the right as well. But 18 minutes played. Chelsea definitely have the dominance, but it is still Chelsea 0, Brentford 0.
Matt, you were watching over Chelsea v Arsenal last weekend. I mean, what sort of differences or similarities are you noting this Chelsea side coming up against a resolute and tough Brentford team?
Well, I think it comes down to, Chelsea last week, they were leading 2-0 with 13 minutes remaining, and they let it slip late on with Arsenal. And I think they're almost playing a little bit like Arsenal were playing. Arsenal were being very patient and they're waiting for those chances rather than just taking a risk and trying to get a goal. Arsenal, fair enough, were good enough to turn it around and get a point out of the game. But Chelsea here, they're being very patient. But like I said, all it takes is one ball over the top from Brentford, one little bit of luck. If Brentford can ride their luck and get one decent chance in front of Robert Sanchez, I think I slated him a little bit last week about how sort of dodgy he looked in the sticks for Chelsea, or how much he looked lacking of confidence. But I think if Brentford get one half chance, the likes of Jan Visser and Brian and Buemo certainly will be taking those chances, that's for sure.
As for Chelsea as well, again, last week's result against Arsenal, they were 2-0 up. They played some really nice stuff, and that maybe was the best performance we've seen from Chelsea throughout the whole season after a really tough start to this new campaign under Mauricio Pochettino. They obviously drew that game, and conceding 2 late goals is something that would have displeased fans, players and managers alike. But they could have taken a lot of positives from last weekend's performance, can't they?
Absolutely. There has to be positive taken from that game. I think last season, you're thinking about if they can get a draw against Arsenal, who were certainly challenging for the title, that's a massive, massive positive to take. So I think Chelsea fans can be a little bit disappointed they didn't come away with those 3 points against Arsenal. That would have been a huge confidence boost, but their form's been picking up. Pochettino's got them playing some decent football. They've taken 7 points from their last 3 games. If they'd have beaten Arsenal, that's it's a 100% record in the past 3 games. You can't really complain about it. There's been a big chance just seconds ago for Raheem Sterling, just as we were talking there, that it's a good build-up play, and it's ended up in the final third, and they're having these half chances, these decent chances they're finding. It's just not really falling well for Raheem Sterling, and he's lashed it right over the bar. But these are the chances that maybe the likes of Nicholas Jackson's got to step up and take.
We have got to speak about those chances, isn't it? Because this is now a common theme we're seeing in the opening 20 minutes, but the Chelsea don't take their chances, and there's been a lot of questions around Nicholas Jackson coming back into the team today. Is he a suitable option? What did Chelsea do about this, goal scoring threat and presence?
I think he came on against Arsenal. I think he showed something different to the likes of Mudryk and Cole Palmer that were interchangeable forwards in that last game against Arsenal. He's quite a solid figure. He matches those centre backs for Brentford quite well. It's a big dominant force, the same that sort of Rasmus Højlund offers as well. It's a big sort of stature. He can offer something different, and a lot of the times they're linking up with Nicholas Jackson as a hold-up player, and the likes of Conor Gallagher and Cole Palmer are sort of getting in on the action and getting in beyond. So I think he's only 22 years of age, so it's not, he's got the world on his shoulders. He's the striker of Chelsea Football Club, which is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and I think it's a difficult task. Anybody that is in his boots is going to be very, very difficult job to handle.
As for Brentford then, Matt, we'll just talk about them as well, because we've got to give them a little bit of love too, haven't we, really? Actually, no, we're not going to do that, because what we've got to do, we have got to go to the Championship, because there has now been a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
We thought there was a goal earlier, but it was ruled out for offside. However, Leeds have struck again immediately afterwards. 20 minutes gone on the clock, and they are back in front. Dan James, the ex-Man United forward, has put the Championship team ahead. It is Leeds 1, Huddersfield 0 against their bitter rivals. I can imagine the Ellen Road faithful are going to be very, very happy with that. It's been a tough time for them, obviously getting relegated to Premier League last season. Didn't start the Championship campaign all too well, but they seem to have turned things round, Matt Temporal, and they're certainly doing that against Huddersfield now.
Yes, and a classic example of counter-attacking football from Leeds United just there. It was a corner to Huddersfield, cleared by Jorginho Rutter. It turned out to be a fantastic ball down the wing for Crescencio Somerville, who's been unplayable today. He spots Dan James free as a bird on the right-hand side. He plays the ball to him, takes a few touches towards the edge of the box, and a very, very nice finish from Dan James. Something that he's been accused of in the past is his finishing ability, but he really, really stuck that in the back of the net there. It's nothing more than Leeds deserve as well. They've been easily the better team, creating more chances and showing a bit of class in a fiery West Yorkshire derby. At the moment, it's Leeds United 1, Huddersfield 0.
What have you, Leeds are deserving of their lead, Matt, right now? They must have been 1-0 up. They've already had the goal in the back of the net once, or it was ruled out. They deserve their lead.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you would associate these kind of derbies with high intensity and tough tackling, but Leeds have shown a bit of class so far today in some of their build-up play. There was a chance earlier for Jorginho Rutter. He took an amazing touch after a ball to feet by Sam Byram. Took him past the defender. It looks like he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but the last defender just gets across to block the shot. But that would have been some goal that I'm sure you'd be seeing on social media all day. And Crysencio Somerville, I mean, he's come into the team today after some really, really good form of late. And he's looks like he's head and shoulders above the Championship, I've got to say. The Championship is a good league, but Somerville's really, really put into shame some of these Huddersfield defenders at the moment. Though, it's still Leeds United 1, Huddersfield 0.
Thank you, Matthew. Let's go back to Matt Smith now, just because I want to talk about Brentford then, Matt. Yeah, as for them, I mean, they obviously beat Burnley last weekend 3. I think it was 3-0 in the end. It was a comfortable display. Yeah, it was 3-0 at home. That ended a run of 6 Premier League games without a victory, drawing 3, losing 3. We associate Brentford over the last few years, with this modern Premier League team getting promoted, doing really well under Thomas Frank, attacking football. But this season really hasn't. It's been faltering and stuttering this season, hasn't it? It's been a tough one that Brentford fans and Thomas Frank wouldn't be used to.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think they find themselves 14th in the table, which is, by Brentford standards of the past, season and a half, that's not really where they want to be. They want to be at least in the top 10, challenging those sort of, Europa Conference or, Europa League and the conference spots. I think I don't know, it's difficult. Like you say, there's so many teams nowadays that are stuttering and getting a good start. Chelsea's obviously one of them. They're 10th at the moment. They're in a good run of form now. So maybe it's just a matter of time of Brentford. They've got the win. Like you said, they got the win against Burnley, So that's all it takes is one very convincing win to push you on a bit of a confident stride. Chelsea have had many more shots in this game. They've had 7 shots, 2 on target. Brentford have only had 2, 1 on target. So in terms of attacking, Chelsea are all over Brentford at the moment, but Brentford they're camped out in their own half. They can't really get those chances. But like I've said, Brentford are the sort of side that when they have a chance, the likes of Brian and Mbeumo certainly is the likely suspect to get that chance and take it with all that he's got. But it's 26 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 0.
Right now the stats between these two teams, then Chelsea 7 shots, just 2 on target. Brentford 2 shots, just 1 on target. And also Southampton are now 2-0 up against Birmingham. Chelsea, in terms of Robert Sanchez, Matt, we said last weekend, he was poor last weekend, wasn't he? He cost Chelsea a goal. He wasn't great. What are your thoughts on him? He's had a few shaky moments this season. At Brighton, he was known for his shaky moments too. He's an interesting case, isn't he?
It is interesting. I think, any goalkeeper, like I said, it's a very difficult job. It's probably the toughest job on the park, to be a goalkeeper and to keep these shots out. But last week, when Arsenal got back in the game, you'd maybe say it was his fault. It was his doing that Arsenal found themselves a little crack in the doorway to open the floodgates. And Robert Sanchez will probably take some of the blame, but the fact is, Chelsea have had goalkeepers that maybe have always been shaky. The likes of Kepa have had a bit of shaky moments. Every keeper has shaky moments, but it's how they bounce back. Robert Sanchez has got to bounce back in this one. There's a couple of times already, I have to admit, in the opening 27 minutes where he's, trying to play out from the back and he's maybe almost given the ball away and playing these short passes into the feet of Moises Caicedo. So it's a little bit difficult to see where his confidence is coming from. He's still trying to play those little sneaky passes. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he hasn't been tested out and out so far by these Brentford forwards, but I'm sure they'll give him a tester in the second half, if not the end of this first half.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Matt Smith. So that means the scores: Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Huddersfield 0. That they're going to be covering so far. Southampton are beating Birmingham 2-0. Right. It is the weekend, which means our focus is on the Premier League. However, just the week just gone, we had Champions League action. We had the likes of Real Madrid in action beating Braga. We had Man City. They dispatched Young Boys. We had Arsenal. They beat Sevilla 2-0 as well. I'm going to stop right now with the spoilers. I mean, I'm sure you knew the results, but just in case you missed any sort of result or any sort of stat or anything like that, make sure you're listening to this, because this is Football Live's Champions League Roundup with Billy Andrews.
Game week 3 comes to a close, and it was a success for 3 of the 4 English sides. Tuesday night saw Arsenal travel to Spain to take on Sevilla. Spain hasn't been a happy destination for the Gunners, losing 11 of their previous 17 away games there. but a stunning goal from Gabriel Jesus and a Champions League debut goal from Gabriel Martinelli saw them beat Sevilla 2-1 to go top of Group B, 1 point above Lens, who drew 1-1 with PSV. It was a game of redemption at Old Trafford as Manchester United picked up their first Champions League points of the season against FC Copenhagen thanks to a goal from Harry Maguire and a last-minute penalty save from Andre Onana, with both hoping they can put their difficult starts to the season behind them. United now sit third in Group A with 3 points, 1 point behind Galatasaray, who lost 3-1 to Bayern Munich, a first home loss for 6 months. On Wednesday night, Manchester City travelled to Switzerland to face BSC Young Boys, and despite a delicious chip from Elia, 2 goals from Erling Haaland and 1 from Manuel Akanji, who became the first Swiss player to score against a Swiss team in the Champions League, saw them win 3-1 and maintain their 100% record in Group G. And finally, Newcastle United played host to Borussia Dortmund, with the visitors yet to score in the Champions League this season. They got their first goal following a blistering counter-attack and a clinical finish from Felix Metscher, his first for Borussia Dortmund. Some excellent saves from both Nick Pope and Gregor Kobel kept the score at 1-0, despite Newcastle hitting the woodwork twice in the dying minutes. They'll now be sweating on the fitness of Alexander Isak ahead of Saturday night's trip to Molineux after the Swede went off injured in the first half. At the halfway point of this season's group stage, it's Arsenal and Manchester City who look set to qualify with little stress, and both Manchester United and Newcastle United have their futures in their own hands.
The heavyweight crossover fight of the century is upon us, and NairoBet has you covered. Francis the Predator Ngannou takes on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury in the battle of the baddest. Bet on our partner Ngannou to beat Fury, and we will give you 2 matched free bets no matter the outcome. All you have to do is log in to www.nairabet.com, bet on Ngannou to beat Fury, and you will receive 2 free bets to use as you please. Full details can be found on our promotions page. You must be over the age of 18. Bets must be placed on pre-fight on Ngannou to win on the 2-way odds market. Minimum stake 500 Naira. General and free bet terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
Football Live returns to Brila FM tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and we've got 5 games in the Premier League to look forward to. The big one is, of course, at Old Trafford. Manchester City go to Manchester United in the derby, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on that one. But before that late kick-off, there are 4 matches. West Ham against Everton, Brighton against Fulham, Liverpool against Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa entertain Luton Town. PSV against Ajax sounds tasty as well in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. A busy afternoon for your host Chris Baldwin tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock on Football Live, right here on Brila FM.
Oh my word, what is going on here?
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
I don't know how to describe it anymore.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
So close, but yet so far.
Powered by NairoBet.
It's come out of nowhere, really.
The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, the Saudi Pro League.
There's action everywhere you look.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
I want more goals.
It's a show that's packed to the brim.
This is madness, it's chaotic.
Superb finish.
Take Brila anywhere, everywhere.
Yes, you can take Brila with you anywhere, everywhere.
The Brila app is available for free download on Google Play. It is also there on the Apple iTunes Store. Yes, on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
Look out for the Brila football and microphone logo with the letters BRILA in green colour.
That is our authentic app. It gives you Brila FM, Brila.net, BrilaSports.tv, and all the extra betting tips, live score, plus our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, and YouTube posts.
Sports fun. You can post your videos and eyewitness reports.
Brila, BRILA. Available for download on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
It's double derby delight for Leeds as Thomas Frank's men go 2-0 up.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, Leeds now lead 2-0 against Huddersfield. Somerville with the goal, Matthew Temporal.
Oh, yeah, he's been the absolute superstar of this game so far. He's head and shoulders above everyone else on the pitch, and he's got a goal that Leeds and himself deserve. It was Joel Perreault who found him in the left-hand side of the box. He takes a few step overs, dummies the defender. The defender lets him inside on his right foot, which is just terrible defending, really. But still, then a fantastic finish from Somerville into the bottom corner. Could the keeper have done a little bit better? He does looks like he gets a few fingertips to it, but the ball still nestles in the back of the net. Huddersfield boss Darren Moore's got to change something here, because Huddersfield are really, really struggling to keep Leeds wide players quiet. Dan James, Crysencio, Somerville have been the best players on the pitch so far, and Darren Moore has to do something about that. He'll be hoping to get to half-time just 2-0 down, but at the moment that's looking unlikely. It's Leeds United 2, Huddersfield 0.
Matthew, how special is Somerville? I mean, 4 goals, 2 assists. Now make that 5 goals, 2 assists in 12 matches in the Championship. You know, we saw how, his potential maybe in the Premier League, but he's really coming to life in the Championship.
Yeah, well, he was a little bit quiet last season after his transfer from the Eredivisie, but you can just tell he's full of talent. He's full of energy on that left-hand side for Leeds, and he's got a very good right foot. He can pick a pass. He's quick. I think he's got to be a success in English football, and whether that's with Leeds next season if they get promoted. And at the moment, they're playing really well. That horrible defeat midweek to Cardiff, but I mean, Leeds United have got to be one of the strongest teams in the league this season, and with Daniel Farker in charge, they've got a serial promotion winner. And if they do go up and they keep hold of Crysencio Somerville, he'll surely be one of their bright sparks in the league next season, just like he is at the moment.
Thank you very much, Matthew Temporal. It is Leeds 2, Huddersfield 0. We're going to go over to Matt Smith now. No, before we do go to Matt Smith, it's not 2-0 much longer, but Leeds have their third.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's a triple treat for Leeds on Halloween, because they have now got their third against Huddersfield, Matt Smith.
Oh, what did I say? Somerville and Dan James linking up again. It's another counter-attack. The ball gets turned in the centre of the field, falls to the feet of Somerville. He's driving. He's making a driving run towards the opposition box. Again, he just lays off Dan James. A very similar finish to his first goal. And it's 3-0 to Leeds United. Huddersfield look down and out already. And it's going to be one hell of a job if they're going to get back into this game. Away at Ellen Road. And Leeds United look like they're running away with it. It's Leeds United 3, Huddersfield 0.
Thank you very much, Matthew Temporal, not Matt Smith. We just have too many Matts on the show today. We are going to go to Matt Smith now, though, to talk about the Chelsea-Brentford game. 37 minutes gone. It's been a while since we've heard from you, Matt. Any updates you can give us?
The only update I can give you, Josh, is that Chelsea have been all over Brentford, and Brentford have not had a sniff. They're, dare I say it, holding on. Chelsea are having chances left, right and centre. Maduiki's just had a shot blocked from Matthias Jensen in the box. He's gone out for a corner. Chelsea are edging closer. Conor Gallagher's linking up. They're having corner after corner. It's all Chelsea. It's 37 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. But how frustrating this must be for Pochettino and his Chelsea players. They're trying their very best to break the Brentford defence down, but they're holding firm. Brentford are not really having any chances since that first sort of 5-minute period at the start of the game when everything was a little bit frantic. Brentford are just sitting and sitting and sitting. Any half chance they get, they're trying their best to break away, but Chelsea are on them like a rash. So Chelsea, again, like last week, very, very promising first half. Just need those goals for Chelsea. 38 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0.
Right now, it feels like a fantastic time to hear from John Kane about the odds and the potential places you could put your bets on for this afternoon.
The latest in-play betting odds from NairaBet.
Yes, good afternoon. The latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change, and they're from the NairaBet website. Chelsea against Brentford. Chelsea are 1.67 for the win, 3.50 for the draw, and it's just gone up to Brentford for 7.0. The other game they were concentrating on, Leeds Huddersfield, is more or less done deal, isn't it? After 36 minutes, Leeds are 3-0 up. It's more or less suspended for Leeds. The draw is 26.0, and Huddersfield away win, if you think so. Well, it's Yorkshire Derby after all. It's 81.0. As for both teams to score, which many do like, for the Chelsea game is 3.0 and 1.36 if you don't think both teams to score. Draw and all bet, which is always a good one. Chelsea are 1.20 and Brentford are 4.75. Of course, all these prices of Narrabet, and they're all subject to change.
Thank you, John Kane. Let's hit rewind and go back to Matt Smith now to talk a little bit more about Chelsea then. Matt, we said obviously Chelsea, that Brentford just sitting back, absorbing the pressure. We do associate Thomas Frank's team with such a defensive strongness and stability. Is this game maybe playing in for Brentford's hands? A game which you could see Brentford coming into more in the second half as the longer it stays 0-0?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that the longer this stays 0-0, Brentford have scored in all 7 league visits to Stamford Bridge. Can you believe? So that I certainly wouldn't put it past them getting a goal, a little bit of luck. They might ride their luck, waiting for those opportunities. Chelsea are going to end up throwing the kitchen sink. They're going to try and get a result here against Brentford. Surely at home they would try. So, Brentford will just have to wait, be patient, wait for those little half chances. Brian Mbeumo is, as we always say every week, it sounds like, Brian Mbeumo is he's linking up everything that Brentford have had going forward. He's the main talisman. Chelsea just had a chance just before you came to me, sorry, that Madueke, he was down that right wing again. Seems to be that sort of that worry for Brentford going down the left of Brentford's defence. He's causing all sorts of problems. Madueke's pulled it all the way back, and it's Mark Cucurella who's found himself in the box. But it's fantastic defended from Christian Norgard, who's blocked it, and it's trickled through to Mark Flecken. But it's those sort of chances that you need that extra little bit of yardage, little bit of 1 yard ahead of the game, just to get that head start. But 40 minutes played, 5 minutes until half time. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0.
What about Cole Palmer, Matt? Because you haven't really said much about him today. I mean, he was fantastic last week, wasn't he, against Arsenal? An absolute pain in the backside for the Gunners, and was so electric by the whole thing. How's he done today?
I have to say, a little bit, an average performance so far, but he reminds me a little bit of Kai Havertz, maybe more, fairly more skillful than Kai Havertz, but he's got the same sort of stature. He almost looks a little bit, not lazy, but he just looks a little bit sort of relaxed all the time, and he is sort of linking the play up very well with Conor Gallagher, and, I think he's maybe just waiting to come into the game a little bit more. He wants more of the ball so he can create a bit more as well. That's for sure. Brentford just had their first corner there, but to no avail. It's ended up right at the back to Mark Flecken, the goalkeeper. So just goes to show how much they're not really going forward with the ball that much. Their corner ends up with their goalkeeper. So it's difficult for Brentford to try and get into this game. It certainly is. But Cole Palmer's just biding his time, waiting for those opportunities to come through, and I'm sure he'll be linking up in the second half with Nicholas Jackson.
As for Mbeumo as well, because you mentioned him a few times, and he always seems like that player for Brentford, which offers that line of hope, that way out, especially in the absence of Ivan Toney. He's been involved in 11 goals in his last 12 Premier League games, scoring and assisting 3. But when you talk about the best players in the Premier League, or those stand-up players, Mbeumo is never mentioned, but when you look at those statistics, he should be.
Yeah, he certainly goes under the radar for me. He certainly does. He's one of those underrated players, because I think maybe he's at a club like Brentford. A sort of team like Brentford isn't really spoken about in teams of the season, or their players aren't really involved in the 11 of the week or the 11 of the season. So I think it's a matter of time. If he maybe gets a move in the summer or even January, which I can maybe see happening, Brian Mbeumo going elsewhere in the Premier League, I can maybe think that he might start getting the recognition, because I think we all knew James Maddison was fantastic before he went to Spurs, but I think now that he's gone to Tottenham and he's in the spotlight more and more, everyone's looking at that and going, oh, he is fantastic, a fantastic link-up player and a great set-piece artist. So I think Mbeumo, in a way, he's got to be a little bit selfish and maybe try and look elsewhere if he's going to stay at Brentford. Goodness me, I think there are bigger clubs that will be after Brian Mbeumo.
Well, I'm sure Brentford fans will hate you for saying that, Matt Smith. Thank you very much. You've made enemies in Brentford today. 0-0 between Chelsea and Brentford. Let's go to Matthew Temporal now, because even though Leeds are 3-0 up, they're definitely not lying down in this derby, are they, Matthew? And they're looking to pile on the embarrassment on Huddersfield even more.
Oh, yeah, they're keeping the pressure on in this game. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they've probably seen that Huddersfield got beat 4-0 midweek against Cardiff. They're losing 3-0 in this game already before half-time. So they're really going to try and put Huddersfield to the sword. And it should have been 4-0 just moments ago. Again, with Dan James hitting the ball almost had the whole goal to aim for, but he's managed to pick out the goalkeeper after a fantastic run by Jorginho Rutter, who's also looked top class in this game. Leeds just look head and shoulders above Huddersfield in every department so far, and it's a worrying time for Huddersfield. They had a decent start under Darren Moore in the first 8 games, only losing 1, but now, after what looks like 2 hammerings in a row in the Championship, are they going to be struggling once again near the bottom of that table? They are just 1 place above the drop zone, so they'll be looking very, very quickly for a turnaround in their form. At the moment, though, it's still Leeds United 3, Huddersfield 0.
Well, yeah, Darren Moore not really having the effect on the Terriers that many fans would have wanted. But you've got to give him hope. He turned Sheffield Wednesday around, and with time, hopefully he can do the same to Huddersfield. I've said Leeds 3, Huddersfield 0. Let's go back to Chelsea now, because I brought up Cole Palmer and Matt Smith, asked you the question of how he's doing, and maybe his afternoon so far has been summed up by this free kick.
Yeah, it's a foul on Moises Caicedo that led to the free kick, but Cole Palmer again, oozing with confidence, similar to what happened last week when he was given the penalty over Raheem Sterling. But Cole Palmer stood up for this free kick, and he looked almost a perfect position for his left foot to swing it over that wall, and it looked like it was going to be heading in, but it just sort of didn't nick the crossbar, just went over the crossbar and onto that net on top of that goal. It's like you say, it just sums up his performance in these opening 45 minutes. He's trying his very best to get involved. He's dropping almost level with Moises Caicedo as well, so he's desperate to get involved. There's been 2 added minutes here at Stamford Bridge. There is a player down, just as you come to me there. I believe it's Matthias Jensen. There's a stoppage in play, but Chelsea will be a little bit frustrated, I'm sure, going into the break, and I'm sure Pochettino will be as well. Those chances, those free kicks, the likes of James Ward-Prowse, for example, would take that and maybe at least test the keeper. So these chances that we keep speaking about in these 45 minutes, we've said it before, Josh, they need to start taking them. So it's 45 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 still.
Yeah, frustrating first half then for Chelsea. I mean, for the first time in a year, they've scored at least twice in 3 successive top-flight fixtures, but that really looks in danger of happening, of not continuing this year. They've been frustrated by Brentford. You probably hear the groans growing around Stamford Bridge right now. It's a very overcast and rainy and miserable day in London as well, so maybe that's reflecting onto the players. Maybe they're feeling overcast and miserable, but it's probably a miserable atmosphere right now in Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have got to pick themselves up, dry themselves up at half time, and see what they can do come the second half, because it's going to be a very important one. Half time coming up in that 2 minutes added on for injury time, so we're coming to the end of those 2 minutes. Before we do get the half time from Matt Smith, we're going to go to his fellow Matthew Temporal. Leeds winning 3-0 against Huddersfield, and apparently the Terriers are very lucky not to get a red card there. Matthew, tell us more.
Yeah, well, the last thing Darren Moore would want at the moment is to get one of his players sent off, and his captain among all the players as well, Jonathan Hogg in midfield. He did challenge Ethan Ampadu earlier with quite a bad challenge, but it could have possibly, it was borderline red card, that challenge alone. So he's on a yellow card, and then he just makes a very stupid challenge just now on Pascal Struijk, who did look hurt by it as well. Very late challenge, could very easily have been a second yellow card. Huddersfield need to keep their discipline here. I know it's going to be frustrating for them, and it's frustrating for the fans as well, who want to see a bit of action from their team, but they don't want to see a red card. They need to keep 11 players on the pitch to avoid another embarrassment like they had midweek. It's Leeds United 3, Huddersfield 0.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything they can do in the second half, Matthew, Huddersfield, or is this game all but it has to be all but finished, surely?
I mean, you would think all but finished. I was listening to the odds earlier for Huddersfield. I'd keep your money in your pocket if you're thinking about a surprise upset here with a Huddersfield comeback. The first thing they need to do is keep those wingers quiet, Somerville and Dan James. They've been running the game for the full 45 minutes so far, and Huddersfield are looking like they're getting in some decent positions, but they're just not troubling Ivan Meslier in goal. It does look all but over, but you never know in these sort of games. It is a West Yorkshire derby, and Darren Moore's a good manager, and he'll be thinking about ways that he can try and turn this game around, or at least stem the flow of Leeds United pressure.
Yes, thank you very much, Matthew Temporal. Half-time has gone between Chelsea and Brentford, so let's get that report from Matt Smith.
Well, Chelsea were in total control for the opening 20 minutes and have remained for the full 45. They're very patient and were waiting for those gaps to appear. Brentford have held firm and broken on their counter-attack earlier on in the game, but they haven't had a sniff in this, the rest of the 35 minutes. They've had the counter-attack on several occasions, but Chelsea also seemed to be solid at the back and kept any chances well away from Robert Sanchez. Chelsea were camped out in the Brentford half looking for those gaps, but like I say, the Brentford defence stayed solid. They couldn't get out of their own half. But it must have been a frustrating first half, Pochettino and Chelsea. No goals, but plenty of shots and opportunities. Nicholas Jackson putting his curler wide, cutting from the left and put his curler wide. Cole Palmer had a free kick late on in the first half, but that was put over. Conor Gallagher's found himself in, attacking positions, but he's been ushered out for a goal kick multiple times. And Marco Correa had a chance, but Matthias Jensen blocked that. So multiple opportunities and shots, but I cannot quite believe I'm saying it. Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 at half-time.
Because we're going to be going to Nigeria very soon in 5 minutes then to join FJ and the team. So I'll ask you now, Matt, both teams, Chelsea and Pochettino, what will he be saying at half-time to get them, to inspire them and get them into lead in the second half?
I think there needs to be a little bit of an injection of pace. I think, they are being patient, and it seems to be that they're very slow, they're very meticulous with their attacks. They're going across the back four, then into Gallagher and Caicedo, then back out to the defence. I think there needs to be a little bit of urgency. There is a lot of panic at the moment, but if you draw another game against Brentford, you're drawing against Brentford, that's not really what Chelsea fans would want to see. You want to see, going into the break 1-0 or 2-0 ahead, surely against the likes of Brentford, but I think it is just a case of a little bit of urgency, a little bit of pace into attacks. Madueke needs to be released a little bit more. He needs more on the ball. Cole Palmer needs to get more on the ball, and Raheem Sterling has been very, very quiet, that's for sure. That's what I think Pochettino needs from this Chelsea side.
Wow, thank you very much. We'll get from Brentford in a minute, but we have another goal in the Championship.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's definitely Halloween for Huddersfield because they have been absolutely spooked at Ellen Road. Leeds now have their fourth and they are enjoying one hell of a day out. Leeds 4, Huddersfield 0. These are the type of days in history that you remember when it comes to a derby. Fans will always talk about it to their kids, the day that Leeds beat Huddersfield 4-0, and we're not even in to the second half yet, the 28th of October. Mark the date, Leeds fans, because it is the time that you thumped Huddersfield. Matthew Temporal, tell us about the goal, because it's a second for Somerville.
Oh, this is possibly the best goal of the lot so far. It's a fantastic team goal by Leeds United. Jorginho Rutter makes a fantastic run on the left wing for Leeds United. He squares the ball to Crescencio Somerville, who takes another couple of step overs, dummies the defender, and then finishes it in the bottom corner of the goal. Leeds United absolutely embarrassing Huddersfield here. Huddersfield lost 4-0 midweek to Cardiff. They're losing 4-0 here at Ellen Road against Leeds United. It's got to be game over now, and Somerville or Dan James will be looking for their hat-trick in the second half, no doubt. It's Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 0.
Yes, thank you very much. Leeds 4, Huddersfield 0. I make a lot of Halloween-based puns because here, obviously, in our London studios, it is Halloween. So just, that is why. If you're wondering, if you're a little bit confused, that is why. Anyway, Leeds 4, Huddersfield 0. Let's go back to Matt Smith now because let's talk about Brentford quickly. What do you think Brentford will want to do in this game, Matt? Just give us a quick, tiny update before we go to FJ.
I think it's a case for Brentford and Thomas Frank. I think it's a case of holding firm, hold the lines, as they would say on the battlefield. Hold the line. I think it's a case of maybe just waiting until Chelsea do throw the kitchen sink, and if they maybe do throw something at Brentford, two over the top, and they leave gaps. I think that's what Thomas Frank might want to try and do. He may obviously have to freshen up the legs, that's for sure, in the second half. I think there's a lot of pressing from Brentford, certainly when it gets into that Chelsea half. But I think Thomas Frank's just got to be patient. I think they've got to be waiting for those gaps to appear. And I think they will get the chances. They're not going to go for this whole of the second half without a half chance at least. But can they take it? They're away from home. The odds are against them. Thomas Frank will be saying, more of the same, boys. They haven't scored. We haven't let them in.
Right, thank you very much, Matt Smith. Let's quickly go to Matthew Temporal. Just get the half-time report from Leeds, Matthew. Just a quick one before we go to FJ.
Yeah, well, what can you say about this first half from Leeds United? They looked head and shoulders above Huddersfield Town in the first half. They're winning 4-0, 2 goals from Somerville, 2 goals from Dan James. Just before the half-time whistle, Dan James had a great chance at the edge of the box as well. Somerville looks like a Premier League player in waiting, whether that's with Leeds United next season or if he gets a transfer in the summer. Leeds United fans won't like me saying that, but that's the truth of the matter. It's Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 0.
Thank you, Matthew Temporal. Then let's give a summary then of these two games. Obviously, Chelsea are drawing to Brentford 0-0. Leeds are beating Huddersfield 4-0. And Southampton are beating Birmingham 2-0. And in the La Liga right now, Almeria, they're losing 1-0 to Las Palmas. For now, let's go to FJ.
Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
FJ. You and your questions, you're always trying to catch me out. But do you know, I've got a sneaky producer in the name of John Kane who's always here to help me out when you put me in a difficult spot, my friend. So the answer to your question, which was, when was the last time Leeds and Huddersfield met in the Championship? And what was the scoreline? Well, unless John Kane has got this wrong, I think the answer is 2020. I knew that anyway. But Leeds won 2-0 at Ellen Road. I think that was the scoreline. Hopefully, John Kane hasn't got it wrong. And I'll let me know if that is right on the next ad break when that comes up in about an hour's time. For now, then, let's get cracking because we've got some football to get to. And we're going to start at Stamford Bridge with Matt Smith, Chelsea and Brentford. 5 minutes gone there, Chelsea. And they're starting the half of the mean to go on with chances, and more chances.
Yeah, absolutely right, Josh. The second half has started quite well for Chelsea. Cole Palmer has already had a hand in things. He's found himself sort of in the final third, and he's just chipped the ball over the top towards Marc Cucurella, who's found himself forward again, and he's got no one else around him, and he tries to stick it right across the box. And it's a good block from, I think it might have been Christopher Ayer who keeps it out for a corner. The resulting corner is a shambles. They try and play it short. Conor Gallagher kicks it off Cole Palmer and it goes out for a goal kick. It's terrible. So let's speak less about that. But Chelsea, they started the second half as they finished the first. They're on top. Brentford just looking for those little counter-attacks where they can find them. But Chelsea, again, searching for something. Cole Palmer seems to be joining the attacks now, rather than dropping in alongside Caicedo and Conor Gallagher. He seems to be almost partnering Nicholas Jackson, giving Nicholas Jackson a little bit more of help up there so he's not so isolated. The game has opened up a little bit. Brentford and Chelsea are just taking risks going forward now. Brian Mbeumo, with his blistering pace, was bombing down the right wing and tried to switch a ball to Visser, trying to take advantage of the big gaps in Chelsea's defence when they come forward. But 50 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, but looks like it could be getting a little bit feisty.
Some things to talk about us there. Some things for us to talk about then across the first half. We'll start off with this Raheem Sterling potential penalty. I mean, I know your opinion at the time was it's a little bit soft. I mean, having a chance to look over that, do we still think it was a soft penalty? And all those people claiming for it, probably a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah, I think a little bit far-fetched just because, Raheem Sterling's stature, he's very small, and I think it might have been against Mads Royerslev. He's not the smallest, he's quite a big lad. It could have even been Christopher Ayer. You'll have to look back at that, but I think Raheem Sterling's noticed that there's a bit of contact and he's gone, right, well, I'm not going to get the header. I think I might go down here and chance it. I might try and get this referee on my side. It's a little bit soft. If I'm the defender, I'll be furious if that was given, but the referee didn't give it, and I think that's probably the right decision. Just as you're talking to me there, Brentford have just had a fantastic chance, probably their biggest chance of the game. It's Vitaly Janelt who has the shot from just inside the Chelsea box. It's great, brilliant play down the right wing. I think it might have been Brian Mbeumo who's cut it back, and Vitaly Janelt has got acres of room around him. No one's really chasing him down, and he's hit it, and it's a fantastic save from Robert Sanchez, and it's come to no avail. So those are the chances that Brentford need to take. That's a big chance. It's probably their biggest chance in the 51 minutes that have been played. And Chelsea will be praying that doesn't happen again, and if it does, they'll have to block it or save it again.
And as for Nicholas Jackson as well, then again, a lot of Chelsea fans, I think, very strong on their opinions of him in that first half. He's not had a great start to the season with them. What are your thoughts on that first half? Are those claims a little bit far-fetched to the mark, or were they pretty spot on?
They're pretty spot on. He has been quiet. I would argue that he has been hiding a little bit, hiding behind these defenders, just trying to... Fair enough, you've got to give him his due. He's trying his best to get in between the defenders, but it's not energetic enough. There's no sort of pace towards it. I think Cole Palmer is maybe doing more going forward than Nicholas Jackson is. He's very, very isolated, Nicholas Jackson, up there. Whether that's a case of Pochettino taking him off, whether that's a case of Jackson, working a little bit harder to try and get on the ball, it has been a bit of a mediocre performance so far from Nicholas Jackson. I won't be surprised if in the next 10, 15 minutes, if it doesn't change, and maybe he gets a goal or gets a little bit of creativity on his part, I've got a funny feeling he might be hauled off pretty soon.
Thank you, Matt Smith. Chelsea's 1,200th Premier League match today, and it's really not going to plan. A team's game that is going to plan, though, is Leeds v Huddersfield. They are absolutely walking to a victory over their Yorkshire rivals. 2 minutes gone in the first half there, Matthew Temporal. Any changes? Are Leeds looking to shut up shop and close it, or is it more of the same in terms of this match and how the first half went?
Well, the changes have come from Huddersfield Town, trying to shore up the back four. If anything, they've brought on defender Matty Pearson, who's obviously going to try and stop the scoreline from increasing even more. Not many chances so far in the second half of this game. Leeds United looking very comfortable, and we don't know if they're going to press on to make this 6-7, 8-0, or they're going to be happy with the 4-0 win. And don't worry, Josh, you can always rely on producer John. He's right. It was 2-0 to Leeds United at Ellen Road in 2020. Goals from Luke Ayling and Patrick Bamford that day. And you've got a question, how does Patrick Bamford get back into this Leeds squad? He's been very good for them over the years, but the way they've attacked in this game, I mean, I just don't feel like there's a place for him at the moment. It's Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 0.
Interesting you said that about Patrick Bamford. He missed the penalty in midweek against Stoke that would have put them up in that game. He had that amazing season in the Premier League, didn't he? That the COVID-19 season, which was 2020, or 2021, 2022. And then since that point, he has just been nowhere near those levels or the heights. It's been really disappointing, hasn't it? And it just doesn't seem like, you say, he has a place in this Leeds attacking outlet, which is led by Thomas Frank.
Yeah, you've got to say...
Sorry, Daniel Fuck, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you've got to say he's one of those players, Patrick Bamford. He's a very streaky player, and when he's out of form, he really, really does suffer with some bad form. And he did have that great season in COVID, but last season in the Premier League, it was he just couldn't get going. There was a horrible injury, and maybe he's just been out of the starting 11 for too long last season, and he's struggling to get that groove back. We do know that, especially at this level, he can be one hell of a deadly striker, but maybe he'll have to move away from Ellen Road. Maybe he needs to try something new. He has been at a lot of clubs throughout his career, so it's not something he's averse to. But no doubt he will be trying to get back into this Leeds starting 11, but it will be tough because they are playing so well.
They are playing really well. They seem like they're comfortably the third best team in the Championship. Leeds 4, Huddersfield 0. Let's bring in Ethan Gardner now, because it is Bayern Munich v Darmstadt. That's coming up at 2:30. The team news is out, Ethan, so take it away.
Good afternoon, Josh. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Germany, where the big news is the return of Manuel Neuer. He's been injured since the winter break of last season in the Bundesliga. He broke his leg on a ski trip, and today is his first appearance in 10 months for Bayern. He is in goal. For the rest of their side, they have a defence made up of Noussair Mazraoui, Matthijs de Ligt, Kim Min-jae and Alphonso Davies. In midfield, Konrad Laimer and Joshua Kimmich are just in behind Jamal Musiala, with Kingsley Coman, Leroy Sané and Harry Kane forming a front three. Kane, of course, looking to continue his battle for the Golden Boot with Serhou Guirassy of Stuttgart. For Darmstadt, well, it's been a tough week for them. They lost 3-1 last time out to Leipzig, and now they've got to face the 11th time in a row champions of the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich. It looks as though they've gone even more defensive with 3 changes, bringing in right back Bader for striker Wilhelmsen, with other changes coming in defence and midfield. Bayern have won all 4 of the last encounters with Darmstadt, only conceding once, although it's not a team they often score against themselves, with 3 of those encounters being 1-0s. Hopefully I'm in for an entertaining afternoon here in Munich, but Bayern comfortably the favourites.
Thank you very much, Ethan Gardner. I mean, that Bundesliga looks absolutely incredible right now, doesn't it? It's so well poised. I mean, who do you think, Ethan, will come out on top in the Bundesliga? I know it's so early on, but we've got Leverkusen, we've got Leipzig, we've got Stuttgart up there, we've got Dortmund, we've got, obviously, Bayern Munich themselves. There seems to be so much competition. This league is going to be incredibly tight, isn't it, come May?
It is, and the Bundesliga has been for a few years now, with new challengers coming up every time. And that's why my heart says Leverkusen to win the Bundesliga, but my head says Bayern Munich. for 12 in a row. I mean, they were so close to losing out to Dortmund last season, but a late winner from Musiala won them the title on the final day. And you've got to say, they've got all the experience in the world to continue winning it. Stuttgart, I mean, they're up there at the moment, but I don't know if they'd be able to maintain it for a whole season, considering they've been battling relegation for the last few years. So again, my heart says Leverkusen, my head says Bayern Munich for the title.
There's weaknesses. Oh, hang on. I was going to say there's weaknesses in Bayern. I tell you where there is weaknesses. There's weaknesses in Chelsea because Brentford have taken the lead.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
This really is against the run of play, isn't it, Matt Smith? Chelsea have dominated proceedings, but they haven't taken their chances. And Brentford, they've struck, and they now have the lead at Stamford Bridge.
I cannot quite believe it. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. It starts from a throw-in deep in the Chelsea half. It's been thrown to Brian Mbeumo, who is the creator of all these chances that I keep talking about. Brian Mbeumo lost it all the way over the 6-yard box, and Ethan Pinnock is there to nod it in. And Robert Sanchez can't really throw a glove at it or anything. It's about 6 yards out. He has to score. It's a bullet header down into the ground. And after all those chances Chelsea have had, they now find themselves behind. 58 minutes played. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
It's the blight of Mbeumo and the venom of Ethan Pinnock which paralyses Chelsea here in the early stages of Football Live. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Matt Smith, what's Stamford Bridge like now? What do Chelsea do? Because this is absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you now, Stamford Bridge is very quiet. Apart from those away fans, those Brentford fans, it's a very, very strange bit of defending from Chelsea defenders. The ball has been lofted over by Brian Mbeumo, and Chelsea are just a little bit napping. I think they've just sort of rested on their laurels and gone, well, we'll defend this. We've defended everything they've thrown at us. We'll defend this as well. It's a little bit lazy, and the fact that Robert Sanchez has got no chance and hasn't even tried to save it is something, is something else. That comes into a different conversation of, is he on his toes? Is he active? But I can't quite believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Like I said before, Brentford only need a half chance, and they've taken their half chance, and now they find themselves potentially getting 3 points away from home at Stamford Bridge.
This is really confusing to wrap your head around as a neutral on Chelsea, because, as we said, they've been doing really well in these last couple of games, hasn't they? Getting that draw against Arsenal where they should have won. They won their 2 games prior to that. They've been on some incredible form, haven't they? But just so hard. Very topsy-turvy, it's not consistent. I mean, one result here, one bad result against Brentford, and they've gone 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back almost.
Yeah, it seems that they can't really get that sort of that flow of games. They've like I said, they've got 7 points from their last 3. That's a fantastic boost, and surely they would have been going into this game with a little bit of confidence, or a lot of confidence, against a Brentford side that are struggling a little bit. They're in the 14th place before this game. It's a game that Chelsea fans would look at and go, right, here we go, 3 points. Let's get this done. Let's get this job done, and let's move on. But like I said, we said it before, Josh, me and you. We both said that Brentford are no mugs. They're not a team to be just sort of swept to the side. And now, I think it's, goodness me, I have to say Nicholas Jackson, is not helping his case to try and prove himself as the out-and-out number 9. He had a chance about 2 minutes ago. He's on the sort of right wing, trying to get himself involved. There's many numbers up, and he's cutting from the right, and his shot is probably in Rose Ed now. It's probably still falling from the sky. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1 on the 61-minute mark, but Chelsea have just turned the heat up a little bit. They're camped in the final third now. We'll have to wait and see if they can get an equaliser, Josh.
I mean, Thomas Frank, maybe we shouldn't be too surprised by this, Matt. Thomas Frank's team, they've opened the scoring in 6 top-flight matches in 2023-24, which is only bettered by West Ham. But you've got to have hope if you're a Chelsea fan, because they've dropped 11 Premier League points from winning positions this season. That's a joint high with Bournemouth. So Chelsea aren't out of the woods just yet, and they've got their attacking quality on the bench to turn this game around, haven't they?
They absolutely have. I think that's where they're going to look to now. They've got 30 minutes plus a bit of added time, perhaps. Chelsea have certainly they've spent, goodness, £435 million in the summer. Brentford have only spent £54 million in the summer. So if we're going to talk about people on the bench, almost certainly they've got players that can change the game. But when you look at it, really, they've only got defenders. So all these players that they've bought that are attacking, Mudryk isn't on the bench. Enzo Fernandez isn't on the bench. You've got David Washington, Alex Matos, and that's about as far as it goes. They've got so many defenders and so many defensive-minded players. They haven't really got anybody to call on that's fit. It's a very strange one. You know, Mudryk would be the sort of player to come on the bench, off the bench, and maybe Armando Broja would come off, but neither of them are on the bench. So, again, that's a little bit of a confusing one of maybe that's an injury that we don't know about in training, or maybe unavailability, we don't know, but they haven't really got anybody to call upon. So they have to look at the 11 players that are out there and go, right, you're going to have to give us your all now.
I mean, all this money in the world, all that money spent on transfers, and they still haven't got someone on the bench to maybe turn this game around. It really is a peculiar situation at Chelsea, isn't it, under their ownership of their new American owner, Todd Bowley. As for, I mean, our producer John is saying that maybe Robert Sanchez looked for the goal there. Would you agree there, Matt?
I think potentially, he has to be a little bit more alert on the first time when the ball is lofted way over the defence. You want a good dominant goalkeeper to come and claim that ball, early on. But the fact that he's still on that line, waiting for his defenders to do his job for him, that's again, it shows a little bit of lack of confidence. Just as you come to me, Super Eagle Frank Onyeka has just entered the field of play for Matthias Jensen, so that's a Super Eagle in play now. Again, that could be a little bit of fresh legs, but it's good to see a Super Eagle coming onto this pitch. So I think it's a case of now just waiting it out. I think Reece James is about to come on for Chelsea just to shore things up and maybe give the attackers a little bit more assurance that they've got some good defenders at their back. But 63 minutes played. Brentford have just been almost very, very silly with the ball. Ethan Pinnock, the goal scorer, almost gave the ball away very sillily to Cole Palmer. He almost capitalised on a chance in his own 6-yard box. It looked like it was very close to the goal, which has resulted in a corner, but we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. 64 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
This worry that Chelsea fans are experiencing right now is the complete opposite. If we were to take a few 100 miles trip up north to Ellen Road to Leeds, where it's 4-0 right now, their fans must be on absolute cloud 9. Matthew Temporal, an euphoric experience, beating your Yorkshire rivals, stumping your Yorkshire rivals, embarrassing your Yorkshire rivals like this. But we did say, would they make some changes? There maybe is an injury worry, and this could be cause concern for Leeds.
Yes, a slight injury worry for Jorginho Rutter, the forward for Leeds United. He's been instrumental in everything that Leeds have done today. He hasn't got on the score sheet, but he has been absolutely fantastic, holding the ball up very well, playing some very nice passes with some nice touches. He's come out of nowhere really this season and made himself one of the key players in the team. But he did just go down with a knee injury after a clash with Tom Lees, the Huddersfield defender. He was down for a few minutes. He did leave the pitch. It looked worrying for Leeds, but he's now back on the pitch, which is a promising sight. I've got to say, Huddersfield have been a bit better, a bit more shored up in defence this half so far. It's still Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 0.
The latest in-play betting odds from NairaBet.
Yes, the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. As you've just heard from Matt Smith, it's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. It's still about half an hour to go in that game. Chelsea just gone up as expected. They are now 4.50 for the win. The draw is 2.88, and a Brentford win, even though they're leading, is 2.10. In fact, it's just gone down to 2.10. If you think it's going to be another goal or more, over 1.5 goals, it's just gone up to 1.44. And if you think it's going to stay the same, it's just gone down to 2.88. If you think it's going to be over 2.5 goals, possibility 2-1, 3-1, anything with 3 goals or more, it's 2.70, and if you think it's going to be less than 2 goals, or less than 3 goals, less than 2.5 goals is 1.44. Now, if we look at score lines, which some people like to play, if you think Chelsea are going to make a comeback and win 2-1, they are at the moment at 6.0. If you think Brentford will maintain that lead and win by 1 goal to 0, it's 2.62. If you think Brentford will be winning 2-0, it's 12.0. And if we look at some of the players who are playing today, I'm just trying to find Jackson, because I know so many people have spoke about him. I'll tell you what, finding Jackson, I actually found Raheem Sterling. He's 7.0 to score next. Cole Palmer is 6.50 to score next. And if you want to go really, really big, well, Thiago Silva might come in and score from header. Who knows? But he is 41.0. Of course, all these prices are from NairaBet, and it's all subject to change.
If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairoBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairoBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bets must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
Oh my word, what is going on here?
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
I don't know how to describe it anymore.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
So close, but yet so far.
Powered by NairoBet.
It's come out of nowhere, really.
The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, the Saudi Pro League.
There's action everywhere you look.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
I want more goals.
It's a show that's packed to the brim.
This is madness. It's chaotic. Superb finish.
You are listening to Football Live.
Brila.
News and engagements never stop on our website
www.brila.net
and our social media handles.
889 Brila FM.
On Facebook.
Yes, 889 Brila FM on Facebook. At 889 Brila FM.
On Instagram.
Got it? At 889 Brila FM on Instagram.
And on Twitter.
It's at Brila FM 889 and Brila Sports TV on Google+. Brila.
News and engagements never stop.
So do remember to like all our pages. Do like us.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
Out from the ads and straight into the action at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea losing 1-0 to Brentford. Matt Smith. What are Mauricio Pochettino's men doing about it? 20 minutes to go, or they face a very embarrassing defeat here at Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, 20 minutes to go. We're at the 70-minute mark. It's still Chelsea 0, Brentford 1, but they are turning up the heat. They are pressing with every minute of this remaining, the remaining 20 minutes. They are pressing with everything they've got. Players are joining the attacks. Cucurella's joining the attacks. Reece James has come onto the field to play for Axel Disasi. That offers something different for Chelsea, certainly going forward. And also Ian Madsen has come on for Noddy Madueke, so a little bit of fresh legs, maybe what Pochettino's looking for. Brentford are holding firm at the moment. They're slowing the game down. They're trying not to get caught into those traps that Chelsea want them to get caught into. I think if Chelsea up this tempo a little bit more, Brentford may start to crumble a little bit. You never know, though. We're 71 minutes played and Brentford find themselves 1-0 up. Is it a case of parking the bus for Thomas Frank? I don't know. I think he might want to shore it up a little bit. We're looking for those counter-attacks, fair enough, but I think Brentford have, got a long way to getting these 3 points. If they can do it, it's a fantastic win. If Chelsea lose this, it's a very, like you say, an embarrassing, very frustrating loss, but still got some time. Chelsea will have more chances between now and the end. We'll have to wait and see, Josh. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
Those substitutions, when you think about all that Chelsea have done in the transfer windows and things like that, bringing in these players, Maatsen for Madueke and James Diase, it really isn't very inspiring, is it? I mean, I don't know whether I'm speaking harshly there. It feels like they should have more weapons in the artillery.
Yeah, I believe they should, but again, that comes down to either the scouting. The scouting of these players, are they injury prone? Are they coming to the club with an injury that they're still trying to deal with? Romeo Lavia hasn't even featured this season for Chelsea, so all these players that are coming in almost a little bit injured on their way. So again, it comes down to scouting, but then it also comes down to, well, how well are they getting looked after at the club? I can't speak on it. Nobody really knows except the club themselves and the staff that are there. But it seems to me that they have probably the biggest amount of injuries in this entire league. There's players missing. Enzo Fernandez, I haven't really done my research potentially in terms of why he's not here today. Mudryk, maybe why he's not there today. But those are two players that have been instrumental for the majority of this season so far, and probably would have been for the remaining season. I don't know whether that's just being rested, but goodness me, Brentford, like I said, are no mugs. Surely you don't rest the Enzo Fernandez and the Mudryk type of players. But like you said, they've got nobody coming off the bench. It's a little bit of a worry. Panic stations are going to be in the next 10 minutes. Chelsea are going to be throwing the kitchen sink.
Yeah, apparently Mudryk and Enzo Fernandez both missed Saturday's games due to small muscle strains. They weren't in the injury list before this game, but apparently in a pre-match interview just said that they've got small muscle strains, which is really concerning. Two players that are so crucial, especially Enzo Fernandez as well. So maybe we shouldn't be too surprised about this defeat, because I really do think Fernandez is a special player and he's very key to the way this Chelsea team click and the way Mauricio Pochettino likes to play his football. Right now, Nicholas Jackson is 6.5 to score. Next subject to change from NairaBet. We've got that. So that's that. There's some odds. Thank you very much, Matt Smith. We're going to turn our attention briefly now to the 3 o'clock games, and we're going to start with Arsenal and Sheffield United. Obviously, Arsenal faced Chelsea last week and came back from 2-0 down. They're looking to come up against Sheffield United team who are fighting for their lives in the Premier League. Matthew Key. We've got another Matthew in our midst as well for these next round of games. It's going to get very confusing for these next 20 minutes. What's the team news here today, Matthew? Because really this game should only go one way and it should all be going to Arsenal, but you never know in the Premier League.
Yes, good afternoon, Josh. Good afternoon, Football Live. You've been coping well with the name so far, Josh. Let's hope that I don't come in and stir up some confusion. But as you say, Josh, this game should be routine. It is Arsenal versus bottom place Sheffield United, still without a win in the Premier League this season. But the Premier League doesn't work like that. And Arsenal especially don't like to make things easy for themselves. Obviously, last year, struggled against Bournemouth, struggled against Southampton, and really this season struggled against Fulham. Whereas you look at Sheffield United, and actually their best performances have come against Man City, where they narrowly lost, Man United last week, where they narrowly lost, and of course Tottenham, where they almost won, ended up with nothing, but were leading in the 90th minute of that game. So it's not going to be easy for Arsenal by any means, and they have to take this game seriously. And there's quite a lot of headline team news, Josh, for me to get through. So for Arsenal, we'll start with, and they've made 4 changes. Actually, what I'll do, Josh, is I've heard there's been a goal, so I'll return back to you, and then I'll come back with full extensive team news for you in a second.
Thank you very much, Matthew Key, because we're going to have to go to another Matthew. It's Matthew Temporal. Tell us about a goal for Huddersfield, because they are back in it.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, the Terriers are back in this game, but I feel like their bite will be a little bit tamed by the fact that they are still 3 goals now behind. Leeds were winning 4-0 in that game, and now means it's 4-1 at Ellen Road, and that just seems like too far to climb, really, doesn't it, with just 20 minutes remaining in that game. But you never know in the Championship. You never know in football at all. So let's hope, we love a bit of action. We love a bit of drama here on Football Live. So let's hope, maybe, keep our fingers crossed that that goal can stir Huddersfield into life and something could happen there. We'll go to Matthew Temporal shortly. Let's go back to Matthew Key now. This is very hard to keep track of. I feel really sorry for me right now. I don't know what Barry and John are doing to me, giving all these Matthews on the lineups here today. Matthew, what do we give us the team news? Where were you? Pick up where you left off.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. This is going to be horrendous for you. I hope you're going to enjoy your afternoon. You'll certainly earn your pay today. Okay, so as I said for Arsenal, we've got 4 changes from last week's game against Chelsea. One of those is forced. Gabriel Jesus was fantastic against Sevilla in midweek, but picked up an injury, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks potentially. So he's out for Eddie Nketiah. Pretty routine swap there, leading the line. The interesting news is at centre-back, where Jakub Kiwior, the Polish international, comes in for Gabriel, who's normally such a stalwart in this Arsenal team, but the Polish international in for his first Premier League start. And Jorginho and Ødegaard, they also make way for Emil Smith-Rowe, who looks like he's going to be playing in midfield today. Once again, it's his first Premier League start of the season. And Kai Havertz also comes in to the midfield. Obviously, still not quite got into gear yet. It has looked better sort of in that number 10 role, or at striker if you like, but playing in midfield today. So the Arsenal team in full then is Raya in goal, still no change there. Ben White, Saliba, Kyrgios and Zinchenko make up the back line, with Declan Rice holding in the midfield, with Smith Rowe and Havertz in front of him, and Saka, Nketiah and Martinelli leading the line. And finally, for Sheffield United, they've made 2 changes from last week. Both are up top. They played a 4-4-2 last week. That's going to be the system again today, with Slimani and Brewster coming in for Ollie McBurney, who scored last week, and Cameron Archer. That is it for team news at the Emirates. Quite a lot to get through there. We're about 50 minutes away from kickoff. This looks like an interesting game, and if Arsenal don't get it right, I think Arteta's going to be questioned with the number of changes he's made.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of changes for him from that midweek. Really interesting, actually, from Mikel Arteta there. It'll be interesting to see how that game comes out. We'll back with you in a minute, Matthew Key. But for now, we are going to head over to. We've got to go to Bournemouth, Burnley, but we are going to go back to Stamford Bridge with Matt Smith. Chelsea desperately searching for a leveller in this game, but they're being undermined by Casado booking a potential VAR check. That's not what they need right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nasty challenge. I think Casido doesn't really mean it. I think it's a yellow card, nothing more. He's gone for the ball. He has gone in with his studs, and I think Christian Norgard, the captain for Brentford, has gone in just before, and Casido's ended up with the studs on just sort of the shin sort of area. Norgard was down for a little while. There's a yellow card straight out the pocket. 78 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Chelsea still looking for that equaliser, and Brentford holding firm.
10, 12 minutes to go here, Chelsea. Is there anywhere back into them for this game, or are Brentford, like you say, holding firm?
I think Chelsea are. They look okay going forward. It's nothing scintillating. They're having they've died off in the last 5 minutes, and Brentford are having their own little half chances going forward. A little bit of time on the ball, a little bit of time wasting, which is what every club would do if they find themselves 1-0 up at Stamford Bridge. Brentford have brought on a few fresh legs as well. Thomas Frank's brought on Neil Maupay and Yarmolik, a 19-year-old Ukrainian who has his first appearance today. Maupay, just bear with me on this one. Neil Maupay was booked early in this second half, whilst already being a substitute on the side, warming up. He was booked because he rolled the ball away from Cole Palmer when Palmer was trying to take a free kick. So Maupay, I didn't think he would have any sort of featuring in this game, but he comes on. He's already booked, so he's only got 15 minutes to try and see if he can not get a second booking. It's 79 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Chelsea are now 8.5, subject to change, obviously, with the odds to win this game. So the odds are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think it's worth a little flutter, maybe. If I was a gambling man, I'd have a little flutter. But 10 minutes plus added time, and Chelsea find themselves behind. They could find that equaliser in the next 10 minutes, though. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's now back to 10 now. So Chelsea are 10.0, subject to change in that. There's rising as every second and every minute ticks by. Thomas Frank's team, they're unbeaten in their past 12 London derbies in the league, winning 6, drawing 6, the longest run in their history. They clearly benefit from the short travels across London. So again, all these, we really came into this game thinking Chelsea would be favourites here, but they're obviously missing Fernandes, missing Mudryk as well. And Brentford have absorbed the pressure. They bided their time. They bit through, they bit and through Ethan Pennicott and Mbeumo, and they're doing really well right now. And Chelsea are going to find it very hard to get back into this game. It's really going to be very interesting as Washington now comes on for Casado. But these are just changes which you just aren't very inspirational if you're an England fan. If you're a Chelsea fan, they're not things you look and think, right, this is going to get us back into this game. It's disappointing. It really is. Right, let's go to Matthew Temporal now, talk about the Huddersfield goal that's made the score 4-1.
Yes, and it's the centre-back, Michael Hellick, with a goal back for Huddersfield. It was the winger, Sorba Thomas, with the ball at the edge of the box. He unleashes a shot, which the goalkeeper parries into the path of the centre-half, and he taps it into the empty net. Nothing more, you would think, than a consolation goal for Huddersfield, but there has been a marked improvement on their performance in this second half, whether that's Leeds just settling for the win, or if it's good management by Darren Moore. I think it is, because when you're 4-0 down at half-time, the only thing you can ask your team really is to go out there and win the second half, and that's exactly what they're doing. And moments before the goal, they were denied, in my book, a quite clear penalty, as Delano Bergzorg was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Leeds captain Liam Cooper tracking back with a last-ditch tackle. Looked to me like he didn't get any of the ball and all of the man. The referee waved play on and the ball rolled into the goalkeeper's arm, so they could have had a goal there. So Huddersfield looking a lot better in the second half, but still a long way to go if they're going to get anything out of this game. And I would still keep my money in my pocket if I was thinking about a Huddersfield comeback. It's Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 1.
They may be winning the second half, but they really ideally want to win the game, and that's definitely not going to happen there. 13 minutes gone. That game is well out of reach for Huddersfield, but Chelsea are still within reach against Brentford. Before we get an update from Matt, actually, no, let's get an update from Matt Smith now, because I think Raheem Sterling might be having a dangerous tack here.
Yeah, Chelsea are coming forward, as I've always said. He's now starting to create the chances that we know that he can. Raheem Sterling has been quite vital on that left wing. He's been a bit under the radar again, so a bit of the grey man, but he's just swung it in from the left. And again, it's Brentford defending very well, getting little touches, getting little nicks here and there, just to stop the likes of Conor Gallagher. And that's who it was in this instance here. Conor Gallagher was in that 6-yard box, looking to try and tap that cross in from Raheem Sterling, a little lofted ball, but I think it's Ethan Pinnock that's just nodded it away, and it's been cleared. So Chelsea, again, like the first half, very frustrating, and this second half must be doublefold, must be twofold frustrating. 83 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
We will be with FJ in the team in about 10 minutes' time. Before that, though, let's go to Bournemouth, where we've got the team news between them and Burnley at the Vitality Stadium. The Cherries hosting Vincent Kompany's Burnley team. We've got Johnny Holmes on this one. Nice break from the whole Matthew quartet, or, triplet we've got going on right now, Johnny. So thank you very much for having a name that begins with a J and not an M. For this game, well, these are two teams, really. It's a relegation 6 points. That's a very cliche saying, but I think it fits the billing here very well. Cherries are only one of 2 Premier League sides yet to win this season, along with Sheffield United. They thought they had that win against Wolves last week, but they ended up conceding that 1-0 advantage they originally had to lose 2-1. And as for Burnley, well, they've lost 7 of their opening 9 top-flight matches. That's the first time since the inaugural Football League season 135 years ago. These are two teams that are very much deep in the seaside mud, and they're kind of being swept out to shore.
You took the cliche right out of my mouth there. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It's a massive relegation battle at the Vitality Stadium today between Bournemouth and Burnley. Let's get straight into some team news then. Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto is ruled out by an ankle injury, so Romanian Ionut Radu will make his Premier League debut. Lewis Cook begins a 3-match ban after being sent off for violent conduct in the defeat by Wolves that you mentioned there. Tyler Adams, Ryan Fredericks and Emiliano Marcondes remain out for Bournemouth. Looking at Burnley then, the quartet of Manuel Benson, Johan Berg Gudmundsson, Hjalmar Ekdal and Jordan Bayer are set to miss out through injury, whilst Connor Roberts serves a 1-match suspension for Burnley. This game comes too soon as well for Michael Obafemi, who made his comeback from a serious hamstring injury by playing for the under-21s in midweek. In terms of their head-to-head, Bournemouth have lost 6 of their last 8 games against Burnley, including each of the last 4. Can they break free of that rut today? We shall soon find out.
Johnny, early predictions for these 2 games then. Obviously we said Bournemouth, they've yet to win yet this season. At least Burnley have won this year, but these are both teams that it should be a really interesting game. It's so hard to call, isn't it? They both like to attack, they both like to play some really nice football. I mean, it really feels like to me a game which maybe Burnley will thrive on right now, playing against a team at a similar level of theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one to call, I would say, though, because you get the feeling there's such a crucial clash at the bottom of the table. 3 points would mean so much to both sides. You wonder if there might be a bit of tentativeness. Both sides won't want to lose this game. Will it make it into a stale affair? I hope not. I bet the listeners hope not as well. Hoping for some goals, but I can see a draw. If you want my bet, I would go for a draw.
There we go, Johnny. I wonder what the odds are there. I wonder what the odds are on Naira Bet. We'll get to those shortly. Thank you very much, Johnny Holmes. Those 2 games are starting at 3 o'clock. We'll get to the El Clasico shortly with Kane Wears. That game starts at 3:15. For now, we need to focus on Chelsea v Brentford, though. So back to Matt Smith we go. Chelsea losing 1-0 here, Matt. They've got 4 minutes of normal time to do something. Time is running out fast. Are Mauricio Pochettino's men going to get away back into this game, or have Brentford shut up the shop, paved all the cracks and are going home, stealing the 3 points from Stamford Bridge?
Well, they arguably had their biggest chance to equalise about 30 seconds ago. It was a corner by Conor Gallagher, and he's whipped it in, and Thiago Silva, the experienced defender, has nodded it towards the goal. It's turned into a bit of a glancing header. It's not as powerful as I think he would have liked. But those are the sort of opportunities where you need your strikers and your forward players to anticipate where that ball's going to go and pounce on it like a cheetah or a tiger and get in that 6-yard box and nick it in. But there's nobody there, and Thiago Silva's shaking his head. He is not happy whatsoever. 87 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. At the moment, the odds for a draw are 4.33. Chelsea to win this game, goodness me, that'll be pigs will fly. 23.00, obviously subject to change from Nairabet. Now it's down to Chelsea 21 and the draw is 4.5, so people might be thinking that Chelsea have got something in this game. I'm not ruling them out. We're 87 minutes played. I think Chelsea have got a goal in them, but I have been wrong before.
And we've got how long do you think it's going to be added on here, Matt? So, because this is a question we have to ask right now, doesn't it? Because the fact that with the new rules, in the Premier League, the fact we have so much more added on time, games can swing if we're looking at a 6, 7, 8 minute injury time. What do we think here?
I don't think there's going to be much stoppage play. I don't think there hasn't really been many injuries. There's been lots of subs. There's been a goal, so maybe people have to put that into it and go, okay, well, 3 or 4. I can't really see it being over 5 minutes. I really can't. But again, your guess is as good as mine. Chelsea have just had another glaring opportunity. It's David Washington, the youngster who came on as a sub not long ago. And the ball is a little bit tricky. The ball's bouncing in front of him, and he's just tried to hit it with his left foot in the area, and it's gone right past him. It's flicked out. It's gone out for a goal kick. So again, it just comes with these little half chances. When you think about it, more experienced players might take those chances, but it's David Washington, bless him, who's only just come on, a little bit fresh leg, a little bit green. And he's missed it. Just as you come to me there, Jesus Perez, Pochettino's assistant, has just been sent off, which I can only assume has been for talking to the fourth official and giving him a little bit of stick. So Pochettino's there on his lonesome now. 89 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
It's in these situations, isn't it, which you learn a lot about your squad, and maybe seeing Chelsea, leading 2-0 last week against Arsenal and collapsing in the dramatic fashion that they did, failing to chase down Brentford here after being 1-0 up for the whole game. Frustration crept in. Pinnock struck 1-0 and they've not been able to get themselves back into this game. It's a young team, isn't it, Chelsea? In these situations which this young squad would not be familiar with apart from the few individuals in this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is just experience. The likes of Thiago Silva must be shaking his head, must be thinking, what am I doing here? He's surrounded by young kids, and Manchester United have won lots of games and lots of titles with the kids. They've brought the kids on, and they've used the kids, and they've definitely they've definitely won things with kids. But Chelsea can't do it this time. They really can't. They need more experience. They need these experienced players to come back from injury, come back from their knocks, and help this team out.
To the El Clasico now. Thank you, Matt Smith. We were going to go to Kane Wiz. No, wait, before we do go to Kane Wiz, we did have a goal in the Chelsea game. It was Brentford that equalised, Matt Smith, but now it's been disallowed. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I believe I don't believe it even got disallowed. I don't think it was even given. I think on closer inspection, it looks like it's gone in. It's a weird sort of angle, but the ball's been crossed in on a breakaway from Brentford. But the shot from Brian Mbeumo is about 8-9 yards out, and he's put it sort of wide, and it's come off the advertising boards and bounced back and rippled the goal. So it looks like it's gone in, and it's been disallowed. I think a lot of people would have seen that watching this game and gone, "Oh, what a fantastic finish! It's 2-0." But it's one of those sort of mystery goals. Doesn't really look like it looks like a goal, but it's not. It's still 1-0. I swear, I promise. It's Chelsea 0, Brentford 1 with 6 added minutes to play. Chelsea have got 6 minutes before they have an embarrassing loss at home.
Raheem Sterling will know all about those goals when he scored a very similar one to himself against Italy all those years ago. Fooled everyone in the ground, fooled all the TV operators. Actually, England thought they were 1-0 up against Italy. Unfortunately, they lost that game 2-1. And Raheem Sterling's goal did not count. So 6 minutes added on time then between Chelsea and Brentford. We're in the 91st minute there. So time running out rapidly. I do want to go to the El Clasico with Kane Weir. So we'll quickly get that in here, Kane. Give us team news between the El Clasico. Just a brief summary because we need to get to this Chelsea game, but I don't want to leave you out. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, so both teams are unchanged from their last games out, with Barcelona having Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal, Cancelo, Christensen, Ronald Araujo and Balde at the back, with Fermin Lopez, Indigo Martinez and Ilkay Gundogan in the middle, with a front three of João Felix, Ferran Torres and Gavi. Exactly the same lineup as well that started the last game out with Sevilla for Real Madrid, with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back four of Dani Carvajal, David Alaba, Rudiger and Mendy with Valverde, Tukameni and Cruz in the middle of the park, and then a front line supported by that main man at the minute, Jude Bellingham of Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. So 189th El Clasico and the first of the season from the Olympic Stadium.
Cheers, thank you very much. As the El Clasico bathed in modern times, and it came with. It really is. This feels like a very special and fresh occasion after a few years of kind of El Clasico not really having its magic or its spark, really, but it feels like it's back this year. New players, new superstars. Really can't wait for that one. Kitchen sink time for Chelsea now against Brentford. 4 minutes to go of the injury time. Matt Smith, they're throwing everything at Brentford.
They really are. I think I counted every single player bar Robert Sanchez was in the Brentford half trying to have some sort of say in these attacks. It's quite strange that the Chelsea haven't scored a goal. It's worrying. I think if you're a Chelsea fan, you're thinking, goodness me, where are our goals going to come from? We can't rely on the likes of Sterling and Cole Palmer and Nodi Madueke. They're trying to start attacks. All eyes are really going to look at that striker. They're going to look at Nicholas Jackson and go, well, what are you offering us? And I think a lot of Chelsea fans will agree with me that he doesn't offer too much. It's 93 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
Matt, I mean, like you say, you're summing up yourself brilliant there, aren't you? It's concerning if they don't get into this game. Chelsea are stranded upstream. They're heading over the cliff. They're heading over the waterfall, aren't they? And they're right without a paddle.
Yeah, it's tough because we have to remember that before this game, Chelsea looked like a different side altogether, and they thought Chelsea fans have been thinking, this is it. We're now on the up now, but goodness me, they're back down to earth straight away. They're up in the clouds, thinking this is it. We're on cloud 9. Goodness me, now they're in a world of pain, a very frustrating loss as it stands. They've still got 3 minutes on the clock to try and get something out of this game, and they really are trying to push everything they've got forward. The likes of Maatsen and Reece James are introducing themselves as well into the attacks, but nothing is falling to them. Nothing's falling perfectly. There's no luck at all. They can't ride their luck like Brentford have. It's a very frustrating afternoon.
It's been an incredible game plan from Brentford, though, hasn't it? I mean, your plaudits have got to go to them, and everyone will say Chelsea should have done better because it's Chelsea, but Brentford, arguably are just as good of a side as Chelsea.
Absolutely, you've got to give Brentford their credit. I think from minute one, we could tell what their plan was. They were going to sit and wait and soak up the pressure and launch these counter-attacks. And to be fair, the goal they've scored hasn't been a counter-attack. It's been a bit of a lofty ball, a bit of a weird ball that Chelsea defence haven't been able to deal with, and they haven't dealt with it. And now, they're gonna end up losing this game. There's a corner just as you come to me 30 seconds ago that Chelsea are having a corner. Like I said, they're camped in that final third. Robert Sanchez has been sent up, and it's again, like I said, kitchen sink time. They're throwing everything they have, and Pochettino will have to wait.
Chelsea could really do with a Somerville couldn't name Matthews, Matt Smith. Oh, we have a goal at Chelsea.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Against the run of play, the Bees have stung the Chelsea Lion Blues, and it is now 2-0 to Brentford. They have completed the win, and Chelsea are dead and buried, Matt Smith.
And Stamford Bridge is emptying. Pochettino doesn't have many words. Robert Sanchez, like I said, was sent up for the two corners back to back. Sanchez was sent up this time, and he was in the box looking for something. It was cleared. Brian Mbeumo was running forward, and he was running away with it. And Robert Sanchez was testing his sprinting attributes. I tell you what, he did try and get back. He did try and pull Brian Mbeumo back, but Brian Mbeumo ran away, and he could not be caught. And it's Chelsea 0, Brentford 2. That's game over. Chelsea fans are heading for the exits. It's, they have thrown everything. Chelsea have thrown everything they had. But like you said, it's their master plan. It's their master plan. It was Neil Maupay, that ran with the ball. And Robert Sanchez almost tried to pull him back. But Neil Maupay was the creator. He ran a good full length of that second half. The half of the pitch. And then gave it to Brian Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo probably deserved a goal. But that's what happens. Brentford have found those chances, found those gaps, and it's Chelsea 0, Brentford 2.
Mbeumo, the Queen Bee, once again, he is absolutely incredible, this player, isn't he, Matt Smith? I mean, like we said, he doesn't feel like he gets enough credit. He got an assist in the first goal. Everything Brentford do, he is a part of. And, you run out of superlatives to describe this player who isn't considered in the same categories as your other wingers in the league, but this player is special.
He really is. I spoke in the first half about, why he's at Brentford, but, he is the talisman for Brentford. But you think of other teams that could do with him, and dare I say it, Chelsea could probably do with a player like Bryan Mbeumo. Something that gives a little bit of I don't know, some energy. Chelsea have just looked a little bit lethargic going forward. They haven't really had out-and-out chances that make you excited as a Chelsea fan. So I think Bryan Mbeumo really has to either consider looking elsewhere because he's a very special player, or just crack on with Brentford and get them in that top 10. I think he's a really special player going forward, coming back, getting involved in attacks, getting involved in defence, and defenders cannot deal with him no matter what.
They say home is where the heart is, but when Chelsea go to Stamford Bridge and play at home, their pulse seems to just disappear and go flat, because for them, they have now just won, their only victory in their past 12 league home games is against Luton. It's another defeat for them. In London derbies as well, their pulse goes. They've won just 2 of their past 12 Premier League derbies. This now means as well, for the first time, they have now lost their 16 league fixture in a calendar year for the first time since 1994. It's amazing. It's incredible. Let's get a full-time report here from Nat Smith, because Chelsea have been absolutely just a quick full-time summary here, Matt.
Well, Brentford arguably had chances before Chelsea did. Bryan Mbeumo bombed down the right wing and cut the ball back into the Chelsea box. But Vitaly Janelt was there, but the shot was saved well by Robert Sanchez. Brentford were the ones who took the lead, can you believe? Bryan Mbeumo created the chance. I feel like we speak about him a lot. He crossed in a very lofty ball into the box. Robert Sanchez didn't come for the ball, didn't claim it, and Ethan Pinnock capitalised and headed it from 6 yards out to make it 1-0. Chelsea turned the heat up after conceding and looked to press with every minute of the remaining minutes of the game. Panic stations, kitchen sink, all those superlatives. But it was now a question of whether Brentford could hold on to the 3 points, and they did, and they doubled their lead. When Robert Sanchez went up from a corner, Chelsea were throwing everything they had, and on the breakdown of a corner, where was the keeper? Oh, that's right, he's in the box. Brentford burst away. Neil Maupay and Bryan Mbeumo were having a little jolly jog, and they went all the way up to the end of the pitch. Neil Maupay with the fresh leg squared it to Bryan Mbeumo, and Bryan Mbeumo made it 2-0 to Brentford. Chelsea 0, Brentford 2. A terrible result for Chelsea.
And on that note, let's go to FJ and the team, because I'm sure a lot of you are going to have a lot of things to say about Chelsea's defeat today.
Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
Chelsea sink to defeat against Brentford. Leeds thump Fulham 4-0. Those are just a couple of the games that we witnessed here on Football Live in the first half of our show. To be a Chelsea fan right now, well, it's one of pain and heartbreak, isn't it? I think that's the only way to describe it. It's really concerning. We'll be talking all about that throughout the rest of this show. But for now, we do have to turn our attention to these 3 o'clock games and also our half-2 game in the Bundesliga. And that is where we're going to start, because there is a shock brewing nicely there, Ethan Gardner. Checking with VAR, or maybe a potential penalty. More importantly, Bayern Munich, they are down to 10 men against Darmstadt.
Well, yeah, I feel somewhat privileged, actually. I've seen something that's only ever happened once on a different occasion. That is Joshua Kimmich being given his marching orders. There was a miscommunication between Manuel Neuer and Kimmich. I mentioned Neuer back for the first time since last year. He laid in a hospital pass too short, and Kimmich ended up having to pull and bring down a Darmstadt attacker, which got him sent off. Since then, Bayern have still been in control, Darmstadt with a couple of half chances, but they've actually been a little bit lapsadaisical, have Bayern. A tough away trip in midweek to Galatasaray. Maybe they're still a little bit tired from that. But as you say, there was a VAR check going on for a potential penalty to Bayern Munich as well. They broke away and Konrad Laimer was brought down. Just waiting to see the result of that now. It's been an interesting start to proceedings here. And after 21 minutes, as you say, there is a potential shock brewing. It's Bayern 0, Darmstadt 0.
I was going to ask this question earlier, Ethan, about Bayern Munich and the fact they do have weaknesses in them. Are we seeing that today?
We are seeing some weaknesses in terms of the defence, I would say. Alphonso Davies at left-back being caught out a couple of times, giving the ball away. And in midfield, I mean, particularly since Kimmich has been sent off, there's just a little bit of weakness. They're outnumbered by Darmstadt. There's a sense maybe they could be got at today. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, Darmstadt, they don't usually win in this fixture. And I mean, in general, though, Darmstadt haven't really had a bad start to this Bundesliga season. Thank you very much, Ethan Gardner. Yeah, they haven't really had a bad start to this season, Darmstadt. You know, they've They've found the net in each of their last 7 league games, but the problem is their defence. They've conceded 22 goals, the joint most in the division, along with basement club Mainz. So therefore, you wouldn't have expected, if it was an even playing field, for Darmstadt to win this game or get anything from this game. Bearing in mind, Bayern Munich have scored in each of their last 61 home league games. But it has to be said, when a team gets down to 10 men, it obviously opens up the door of opportunity, and hopefully Darmstadt will straight through that door and towards a point or 3 points, because that is huge. You don't get those chances often against a team like Bayern Munich, especially when you're a newly promoted club and aspirations of staying up. Those 1 or 3 points could go a long way in achieving that aspirations. But as I say that, Darmstadt are now down to 10 men. Ethan, all this hope, all this opportunity out the window, because the Motorville discipline has brought the playing fields level.
Well, it's incredibly unfortunate. As I said, there was a VAR check going on for a potential penalty, a break from Bayern. I mentioned Konrad Leimer had been brought down, and the man that did that, Gyasula, has been sent off. It wasn't given as a penalty, it was just outside the box, but because he was the last man, Darmstadt now also find themselves down to 10 men. This is going to be a very interesting match to see where this goes from here, because they have had a good start, and unfortunately this is going to put a bit of a spanner in the works. After 23 minutes, both teams down to 10 men. It's Bayern 0, Darmstadt 0.
I mean, the momentum is back with Bayern Munich now, isn't it? Now they're back to being the favourites again. Now we're back to 10 men.
Well, you would say so, but the way Darmstadt have also set up, I mean, yes, this is a centre-back being sent off, but they still have 2 other centre-backs on the pitch, including wing-backs. They can sit in defensively, and actually they've got a fairly decent record in terms of conceding, despite their leaky defence against Bayern in recent memory. They haven't conceded many at all. Last time was just a 1-0 victory to Bayern Munich, so maybe, just maybe, they can hold on today if Bayern continue to look a little bit tired from their away trip to Galatasaray in midweek.
Thank you very much.
Heavyweight crossover fight of the century is upon us, and NairaBet has you covered. Francis the Predator Ngannou takes on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury in the battle of the baddest. Bet on our partner Ngannou to beat Fury, and we will give you 2 matched free bets, no matter the outcome. All you have to do is log in to www.nairabet.com, bet on Ngannou to beat Fury, and you will receive 2 free bets to use as you please. Full details can be found on our promotions page. You must be over the age of 18. Bets must be placed on pre-fight on Ngannou to win on the 2-way odds market. Minimum stake €500. General and free bet terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
Football Live returns to Brila FM tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and we've got 5 games in the Premier League to look forward to. The big one is, of course, at Old Trafford. Manchester City go to Manchester United in the derby, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on that one. But before that late kick-off, there are 4 matches. West Ham against Everton, Brighton against Fulham, Liverpool against Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa entertain Luton Town. PSV against Ajax sounds tasty as well in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. A busy afternoon for your host Chris Baldwin tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock on Football Live, right here on Brila FM.
Oh my word, what is going on here?
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
I don't know how to describe it anymore.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
So close, but yet so far.
Powered by NairaBet.
It's come out of nowhere, really.
The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, the Saudi Pro League.
There's action everywhere you look.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
I want more goals.
It's a show that's packed to the brim.
This is madness. It's chaotic. Superb finish.
Take Brila anywhere, everywhere.
Yes, you can take Brila with you anywhere, everywhere.
The Brila app is available for free download on Google Play. It is also there on the Apple iTunes Store. Yes, on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
Look out for the Brila football and microphone logo with the letters BRILA in green colour.
That is our authentic app. It gives you Brila FM, Brila.net, brillasports.tv, and all the extra betting tips, live score, plus our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, and YouTube posts.
Sports fun. You can post your videos and eyewitness reports.
Brila, B-R-I-L-A. Available for download on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
Now this is where the show really starts to get serious because we are 2 minutes away from our 3 o'clock kickoffs. We have got Arsenal v Sheffield United. We have got Bournemouth v Burnley and the El Clasico, Barcelona v Real Madrid. But for now, though, we're going to get the latest odds with John Kane.
The latest in-play betting odds from NairaBet.
Yes, the latest odds from NairaBet. It's not quite in-play betting, but it's literally got about a minute or two to go for kickoff. In the Premier League, Bournemouth are playing Burnley. Bournemouth are 2.15 for the win. The draw is 3.60, and Burnley to win away is 3.40. Arsenal and Sheffield United. Arsenal more or less firm favourite for that game. They are 1.12 for the win. The draw is 10.0, and an away win for Sheffield United, if you fancy it, is 21.0. Now, El Clasico is more or less even Stevens between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Barcelona are 2.60, likewise for Real Madrid, and the draw is 3.50. Just to make it interesting, as far as the Arsenal betting is concerned, I'm sure due to the Arsenal being favourite and the odds are being very, very low, so I thought we'll give you more on probably on the goals. So if you think it's going to be let's have a look. If you think Arsenal gonna have a clean sheet, it's 1.57, it's 2.25. If you don't think so, if you think Sheffield United will score a goal, Arsenal, if you think gonna score more than 2.5 goals, is 1.57, and if you think gonna score more than 3.5 goals, Arsenal at the moment are 2.40. These are probably the best odds I can give you as far as Arsenal's concerned. Like I said, they are firm favourites for this game, and of course all these odds are from NairaBet, and they're all subject to change.
Thank you very much, John Kane. Let's get cracking, shall we now? Let's start off with Arsenal, and we'll go to Matthew Key, I believe, is on this game. I get very confused, but I know Matthew's on today's show. So we're going to start with Matthew Key then. Matthew, I'm saying your name a lot right now. Arsenal v Sheffield United. Obviously, said Mikel Arteta making a lot of changes with this squad today. What do you make of that?
Yes, it's an interesting one, Josh. It really is. I think, obviously, Arsenal had midweek action in the Champions League. A tough game for them out in Sevilla. They did well to pick up all 3 points. But I don't know, I can't help feeling here that Arsenal have, well, maybe Mikel Arteta could be slightly underestimating Sheffield United here. Obviously, they've got a deep squad and it's important to rotate that and what have you. But you look at the likes of no Ødegaard, no Gabriel at the back. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is out injured, so that's an enforced change anyway. And you can't help but feeling, if you're an Arsenal fan, would you not rather sort of get the job done, go 2 goals up if possible, and then look to rest players? I don't know. I think it could be a risky one for Arteta today, and game's just kicked off now. And if Arsenal don't get off to a good start, and Sheffield United will gain confidence from that, and it could become a really difficult afternoon for Arsenal, as Sheffield United have already caused for teams already this season.
I mean, I guess this is why Arsenal brought in certain players, though. They know they have the Champions League this season. They want the depth to compete with Manchester City. So, we see this sort of rotation with Pep Guardiola and Man City all the time, but no one seems to bat an eyelid. But because Arsenal do it, maybe it's considered a little bit of a risk and a little bit, Arsenal getting a little bit too confident. But it's still a strong team from Arsenal. They've dropped Ødegaard to the bench, bringing in Smith Rowe, who we know has got quality. We've still got Saka and Nketiah, Martinelli in the team. These are the games and this rotation which Arsenal are brought in their players for.
Yeah, that is that's absolutely right, Josh. But you've got to look at other things as part of that. Obviously, David Raya, that's been a big talking point amongst the Arsenal fans, and yet he doesn't come in today. He's still rare in goal with Ramsdale on the bench. So it does seem a strange one. It almost seems like it's a bit of an experiment from Arteta in some ways. Smith Rowe, Kyrgios not started a Premier League game yet this season. Havertz still very much finding his feet in that midfield role, if that is where Arteta sees his best position. So it almost, I don't want to say it's like they're not respecting Sheffield United, because I'm sure Arteta is very wary of them and respects them and fears, well, not necessarily fears them, but knows what they're capable of. But it does feel like Arsenal certainly haven't gone into this team into this game with a team as strong as they could have done.
And I mean, Arsenal, they have form on their side, definitely being the better team today, but they also have history on their side as well. Sheffield United have just won 2 of their last 32 Premier League away fixtures against London sides. That was in 1992, beating Chelsea and Crystal Palace 1-0 in 2020. They've lost their last 9 top-flight matches in the capital. Those are damning statistics, aren't they, Matt?
Yeah, it's not good reading for Sheffield United, but again, they perform well against the likes of United last weekend, City earlier in the season, Tottenham not long ago either. So they can take encouragement from that. No one expects anything of them today, so it's a bit of a free hit with them. Even though the pressure is building, them not having won a game yet this season, it is somewhat of a free hit. And they'll look at that Arsenal team and they'll think, we can get at these today. I think the midfield's a bit light with just Declan Rice in that holding midfield position. Obviously, he's been absolutely fantastic, but big job for him on his own. And they've got players with points to prove, Sheffield United. And I think the longer this game goes on without Arsenal scoring, the more encouragement they'll get that they can potentially nick something, which would be a huge shock that would sort of go round the whole league.
Yeah, I think you could say that again, Matthew, because that would be an incredible shock. Something I don't think any of us are really expecting today. Let's now go to Bayern Munich, because they've just had a chance against the team they're now level with 10 men against.
Yes, it was a bit of confusion between the Darmstadt defenders, just because a ball came through in the direction of Harry Kane, but he was stood miles offside. Darmstadt, as a result, thought a free kick would be given their way and sort of took their foot off the gas in terms of running for it. That's when Kingsley Coman decided to burst through on his own, pick up the ball and put the shot just into the side netting, inches wide of the post. Darmstadt weren't happy that the play was allowed to continue, but of course it was, and that was Bayern's closest chance so far this half. It's actually been quite messy since then. We're about 35 minutes in and neither side have really taken a grip of the game just yet, and as a result, after 35 minutes, it does remain Bayern 0, Darmstadt 0.
Thank you, Ethan Gardner. There's a relegation focus, isn't there, really, on Football Live today. 3 of the 4 teams that are playing do occupy the bottom 3 currently. I do believe that is right. Yeah, that is right. Burnley, Bournemouth and Sheffield United all occupy the relegation zones right now, Johnny Holmes. So Bournemouth and Burnley, they're fighting out each other, but they'll also be keeping an eye on Arsenal, Sheffield United, and vice versa as well, because as we've said, this game is the 6-pointer. A win for Burnley today takes them up all the way up to 8 points and bridges the gap to the teams around them. For Bournemouth, same, it takes them up to 7 points as well and gives them a little breathing room as well. Both teams are going to be desperate for the win, because a draw really does not suit either of them.
Absolutely. Desperate for all 3 points today, both sides. And as you mentioned, the Sheffield United game involving Arsenal as well will have a lot of bearing on this match. And you would imagine that Arsenal will get a result against Sheffield United, which gives these two sides, Bournemouth and Burnley, a fantastic opportunity to pull away from Sheffield United, who are currently rock bottom of the Premier League. And early on, it was the Cherries who had a slight opportunity. Philip Billing nicked a ball off of a Burnley defender, charged forwards and slid it through to Dominic Solanke, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it before Dara O'Shea made a tackle and ended that particular attack. But it's Bournemouth who have looked the slightly better of the two so far here. It's still 0-0 between the two sides.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just talk about both teams respectively, Johnny. What do you make of Bournemouth's start to the season? Obviously, they're winless along with Sheffield United. It's now 13 league matches, and that's one short of a club record, which they set in the 3rd tier in 1974. But, they have drawn 4 games. They have been competitive in most games they've played. Do you think that's maybe a deceiving start for Bournemouth, or do you think they haven't got the quality. They just haven't got the quality to compete this season.
I think they've been relatively unremarkable, Bournemouth, not really getting the job done when it matters, not getting those 3 points on the board, as you mentioned, winless so far. But I think when they get firing, Solanke is a threat. He always will be, a target man and a quality finisher. And I do believe that Bournemouth, when they get in their stride, they can get points on the board, and they're looking set to try and do that right now, today, in this match. Still 0-0 after 8 minutes played here.
I mean, Dominic Solanke, he's involved in 83% of Bournemouth's top flight goals this term. Third portion of any player, and of their 6 strikes, he has netted 4 and assisted 1. So he is pretty much the only person that you can rely on in this Bournemouth attack. What about Burnley then? I mean, so much was made of this team of Vincent Kompany. They absolutely walked the Championship, played some football, which I think we never thought Burnley would ever see the daylight of, playing some absolutely incredible liquid stuff. But they seem to have found out this year. That was always the worry coming into this league, wasn't it? That defensive ability. We've seen how clubs do when they try to play this open brand of attacking football coming from the Championship. They get found out. And is that another case with Burnley?
You're absolutely right. I mean, we've seen it with sides like Leeds United in the past. They blow Championship opposition away, and then they try and bring that style of play to the Premier League. And it doesn't always work out. We're seeing it for Burnley, and I wonder if Vincent Kompany, the manager, is going to have to start tweaking. We thought that at Leeds, Marcelo Bielsa refused to change tactics. He refused to go defensive in the Premier League, and it eventually cost him his job. And we just hope that it won't go the same way for Kompany, because you do get found out at this level, and Burnley have seen that so far in this season. I think both sides have seen that so far this season. But Bournemouth have got a little bit of Premier League pedigree recently. They've got the nous. They've been in the league for a while, and I reckon are, of the two sides, shown the more capacity to adapt to the Premier League style of play for those bottom sides who sometimes just have to go and grind a result out.
Okay, thank you very much, Johnny Holmes. We're going to head over now to Kane Wears watching the El Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid. That game gets underway in 5 minutes' time, Kane. We had a brief chat with you before, didn't we? But let's really get down to business, because it's an absolutely huge game, isn't it? A crunch match at the top of this La Liga. Two teams who we really think are going to be leading the way, but right now it's Girona who are top after their win earlier on. They're both on 25 and 24 points respectively. 8 wins for Real Madrid, 1 draw, 1 loss. 7 wins for Barcelona with the 3 draws and 0 losses. These teams seem remarkably matched, and as I've said today, this is a new dawn for the El Clasico, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game today to actually see in terms of which team's going to be on the front foot and really take the game to each other and try and set a marker down early on in the season. An interesting stat is Real Madrid have won 102 of the previous El Clasicos, with Barcelona on 100. So by the end of the season, it could be all square depending on how things are. But it's actually 5 years to the day since Barcelona actually beat Real Madrid 5-1. So hopefully not an omen for Real Madrid. Hopefully 6 goals in the game. But actually it's Englishman Jude Bellingham who actually is to score any time, 3.25 with Naira subject to change. So hopefully goals galore in this game today.
I mean, for Real Madrid, this season presents itself as a revenge season, doesn't it? Barcelona walked the league last year. I mean, it was embarrassing for Real Madrid, and this game really does have a lot on the line today for both team seasons and what they both want to achieve this year.
I think it's really interesting when you think about it in terms of, I don't think anyone expected Barcelona, with all of the things off the pitch that were going on with them, go and win the league and do it in such fashion. But Carlo Ancelotti spoke about how there's a transition and a lot of young players coming into the squad. So I think that's for both sides now in a transition. So a big game to set a marker down.
Thank you very much, Kane Wears. We haven't had to wait long for our first score in the Premier League, because it has just come.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Johnny Holmes said that Burnley had the greater potential, shall we say, to achieve relegation survival this year, and they've taken the lead against Bournemouth with 12 minutes to go. It's Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1, Johnny Holmes.
What a stunning strike it is as well. Charlie Taylor, take a bow, a rocket ship from the edge of the box on the half volley. It's bouncing out to him. The corner's been floated in. It's found its way to the edge of the box. Charlie Taylor gets his head down and says, I'm going to hit this one. And boy, does he hit it. Smashes it into the back of the net. Goalkeeper stricken. Nothing he could do about it. Burnley lead, but there's a VAR check going on here. We're looking at a possible handball, so we might need to come back to this one. As things stand, the goal appears to be given. Yes, it's been given. Burnley lead, Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1, 12 minutes played.
Burnley breathing a huge sigh of relief there. Goals have not been easy for them to come by this season. They've just recorded just 24 shots on target this campaign. That's the fewest of any Premier League side other than Luton. So they needed that goal to stand because they found it tricky facing the opposition keeper's net. And that means they now lead 1-0 thanks to a Charlie Taylor wonder goal. That is what it was going to take for Burnley to put themselves in front. So Matthew Key now tell us about this Arsenal-Sheffield United game. 13 minutes gone there, Matthew. Arsenal have just had a chance. Is that the way the game's gone so far?
No, to be honest, Josh, I think Sheffield United will be quite happy with the work they've done in the first 13 minutes here. Arsenal have had lots of the possession, but yet to really create a clear-cut chance until just now. It was a corner after some good work from Nketiah to win it, and Martinelli whipped it in really viciously. It was in a great area, and no one attacked it from an Arsenal point of view. There was a good bit of defending from Thomas from Sheffield United, but none of the Arsenal players really gambled. There's a lot of height in that team with the likes of Havertz, Saliba, Declan Rice, and one of them had chucked themselves at it. May well have been a goal, because in the end it just bounced across the 6-yard box. No one got a touch on it. Goal kick Sheffield United. They'll be happy with the start they've made, but that was a little warning sign for them. 13 minutes gone, Arsenal 0, Sheffield United 0.
As for Sheffield United this season, Matthew, we've spoke about how Burnley is really the game they're going to want to keeping an arm because they're currently the basement club, Sheffield United. Do you think they've got much chance of staying up this season? They didn't really recruit well in the summer, had a lot of financial troubles off the pitch. Coming into this year, everything was against them staying up, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to feel sorry for Paul Heckingbottom, the Sheffield United boss. Obviously, he did such a fantastic job to get them up last year. It sort of went under the radar because of how well Burnley played. But no, it's going to be a tough ask for them. Lost their two best players in the summer. And yeah, obviously had a really difficult start to the season. But played well here the first 15 minutes. Still 0-0.
There's goals all across Europe because we've just had our first in the Bundesliga.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It looked at one point this afternoon that Bayern Munich would be fighting for their lives at home to Darmstadt after Joshua Kimmich was sent off. But what followed after that was 2 red cards for Darmstadt. Yes, 2. We heard about the one from Ethan Gardner. There turns out to be a second. And because of that, Bayern Munich have now taken the lead.
Yes, I mean, it was a very simple goal in truth. That's probably because 2 of Darmstadt's 3 centre-backs have hit the showers early. It was Jamal Musiala that played the pass in. Leroy Sané with a little shimmy to get round the last remaining centre-back, and he fired it past the goalkeeper. It's a well-taken goal. I think they will check it just in case he was offside here. But Bayern should now be in control. There's not long to go till half-time. You think they'll just want to last until then and reassess in the changing rooms. I can't really believe what I'm seeing otherwise here, though. I can't recall any other time where 3 red cards have been shown in one game, and it's a shame because Darmstadt were going toe-to-toe with the German champions, but clearly now it's not going to go their way. It is Bayern 1, Darmstadt 0, although actually, sorry, from the VAR check, I believe the goal's been disallowed. I think we're back to 0-0 after 46 minutes. I think Sané has been given as offside. So Darmstadt maybe still have a chance, even though they're down to 9 men. After 46 minutes, I believe now it is Bayern 0, Darmstadt 0.
Yeah, I mean, it has definitely been ruled out there. Is it offside? We can't confirm it is Bayern Munich 0, Darmstadt 0. So hold the celebrations, Bayern Munich fans. But what was it ruled out? Is it offside on Sané then, Ethan Godwin?
Yes, it has officially now been given offside against Sané. I think his leading foot, so he was just stepping forward to take the ball into his stride, and I believe it's his leading left foot that has been given as offside. Celebrations in the away end for Darmstadt, celebrating not going 1-0 down. down to 9 men. And as I say now, they can limp into half-time and perhaps reassess, knowing they're not behind to Bayern anymore.
0-0. What are Darmstadt going to be doing? Down to 9 men. Bayern Munich down to 10 men. A real lack of discipline spreading around the Allianz Stadium right now. In terms around scores around Europe, then we will give you the updates now accordingly. So in Europe, in Ligue 1, Friends and Lorient, that kicks off at 4 o'clock. In the Bundesliga, where all games are just reaching half-time. Augsburg are currently losing 2-1 to Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich and Darmstadt are 0-0, as we just heard from Ethan Gardner. Werder Bremen are beating Union Berlin 1-0. Union Berlin, who I think are winless in about 9 games now, nearly going to be their 10th, and they've really struggled, not reached the heights of last season. You do worry for them this year. Mönchengladbach are drawing 1-1 with Heidenheim. It's a very entertaining game there. Stuttgart are losing 2-0 to Hoffenheim. Stuttgart, who I spoke to Ethan Gardner earlier, and he actually said, are they going to sustain that title challenge after being within the relegation scraps of the last few years, where the 2-0 defeat to Hoffenheim is really not going to make their case for a Bundesliga title? And RB Leipzig coming up against SC Cologne at 5:30. So Solo and Bologna is on the 61st minute, and it is 1-0, all evens, all honours evens there between them two teams. That's Solo 1, Bologna 1. Lecce and Torino are currently, well, it's currently 0-0 because the game kicks off at 5 o'clock. We've got a while to wait for that one, and Juventus and Verona kicks off at 7:45. In Eredivisie, no games have kicked off in the Nigeria NPFL. Bendel and Aqua United, Enugu and Kano and Gombe v Plateau, that all kicks off at 4 o'clock. And the Saudi Pro League, again, all these games have got 4 o'clock too, against Abba v Al Shabab, Al Fiha v Al Nasir, and Al Weda v El Atifak. As well, that's coming up at 7 o'clock. But Cristiano Ronaldo, Al Nassr is coming up at 4 o'clock. Then also in the La Liga, we have Las Palmas. Las Palmas run out winners there 2-1 in that tie. Barcelona and Real Madrid are 0-0. Mallorca and Getafe kicks off at 5:30. And Cadiz v Sevilla is at 8 o'clock. Let's get to the Barcelona Real Madrid then at the Olympic Stadium, because the Camp Nou is under renovation. What's it like seeing an El Clasico not taking along the religious and incredible backdrop that is the new camp?
Yeah, the atmosphere is actually unbelievable. Although a lot of noise there when Jude Bellingham's just broke through within probably the first 2 minutes and made Marc-Andre ter Stegen make a great save. But actually, the atmosphere from probably 30 seconds in was electric when Vinicius Jr. just got the ball and just shelled it straight into the stand towards the Barcelona fans, to a lot of angry noise, discomfort from those fans. But Barcelona are getting on the ball, they are, and looking a bit like their rule possession-based style through Xavi, and are just settling into the game. But the atmosphere is really, really good so far in the Olympic Stadium that's hosting its first ever Clasico.
The first ever Clasico in the Olympic Stadium backdrop, 0-0. Thank you very much, Kane Wears. Let's go to Arsenal v Sheffield United, because both teams are sort of thinning each other out right now, summing each other up, and it kind of, you said last time, Matthew Key, we spoke, that no real chances in both games. But I say that Saka has had a fantastic chance after a counter.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that we've just seen there, Josh. Sort of the way that both teams are probably going to look to get success this afternoon, because Sheffield United actually did really well to play up from the back, got a free kick, and there was a chance to get the centre backs up there, whip a good ball in, and see if they could win any scraps. But it was actually a really poor ball from Gustavo Hamer, and David Raya won the ball and instantly threw it out to Martinelli, pinpoint accuracy, and the Brazilian found himself with a 1-on-2 situation, did really well to beat a man and was looking for support, and it came in the form of Saka breaking forward, but the pass was slightly behind him. He couldn't quite get it out of his feet, and his shot was weak and it was blocked. But say really interesting there, and Sheffield United, although they need to look to score goals and not just sit in, they're going to have to be careful with those corner and set piece situations, because if they get them wrong, Arsenal's such a good team on the counter attack, the pace they've got in Martinelli and Saka, and it was almost to their downfall there. So yeah, that will give Arsenal some encouragement, and I don't think they'll mind Sheffield United getting those opportunities. Arsenal 0, Sheffield United 0, 21 minutes played.
Have you been surprised by Sheffield United's being able to create those chances so far, Matt?
Well, to be fair, it was sort of their first one, but I like the way that Paul Heckingbottom set his side up here. It's been really disciplined, and to be fair to them, a couple of times they've played it out really nicely. So Yeah, they're taking plenty of encouragement from these first 20 minutes.
We have another goal in the Premier League.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's not in London because it's the South Coast that's seeing all the action. Before we go there, though, we've got to announce a goal in the La Liga.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's a game that certainly won't decide the title race, but it will definitely have some sort of implications in it. It is Barcelona that have taken the lead, Kane Wiz.
Unbelievable start for Barcelona, and again it comes from the build-up. They're just popping it around from the middle of the park. If it's Lopez, if it's Gundogan, if it's Gavi, just popping it about in the centre of the park. A ball goes into Ferran Torres, who's playing as the centre forward today. A little give and go, but actually it then cut out.
And I think we have lost Kane Wiz there, but we can confirm that Barcelona are 1-0 up in that game. Really, really huge goal for them. So early on, and that really is bubbling up nicely. Again, it is bubbling up nicely, is Bournemouth-Burnley, because Bournemouth are level Johnny Holmes after falling behind to a Charlie Taylor wonder strike. Semenyo has put his team level, and is it a goal of equal quality?
It's a goal that suggests what we were talking about earlier, Josh, about Burnley, and they want to play on the front foot. They want to pass out from the back. It's what Company wants from them, but they've been caught lacking here. It's this possession that leads to the goal and into the back of the net. Semenyo takes the chance, runs, slots it into the bottom corner. There was a VAR check. The goal's been given, and will Burnley have to reconsider their approach to this match now? Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1.
1-1 there, 1-0 in the Bundesliga, and it is 0-0 between Arsenal and Sheffield United. Let's just take a breather for a few seconds, because a lot has been going on in those respective games. One game we do really have to talk to as well, I'm going to bring in John Kane for this, is Tottenham Hotspur against Crystal Palace. That was our Friday night game then between those two teams, a London derby, which Tottenham run out winners 2-1 in the end. And it was a game which sees Tottenham go 5 points atop of the league, and also really showed a lot of quality from both teams. Crystal Palace, they were very defensive, very resolute. They frustrated Tottenham, but they bided their time and eventually found their way through thanks to a Joel Ward own goal. And then the cherries put on top of the cake, which would seal the 3 points when Heung-min Son converted from a Brennan Johnson pass back across the face of goal from about 4 or 5 yards out. Son put it into the bottom left-hand corner. John, Tottenham Hotspur, I mean, they're flying at the top of the table. What do we think? Can they go all the way? I mean, we know pundits like Gary Neville have said they can't. What do you think?
I think most Spurs fans will say, yeah, this is our chance, let's do it. But when you look at the reality of things, it's very, very hard. We're yet to play teams like Manchester City. Doesn't matter what position Manchester City are, they're always going to be a threat, aren't they? So is Liverpool this season. And the problem with Tottenham, watching Tottenham yesterday, the first half, they weren't that great, weren't they? Like you said, they were frustrated by Palace. The own goals more or less break the deadlock for both teams. Palace had to do something, and Spurs got on the break, and they scored the second goal before Ayew scored the consolation for Crystal Palace. But the big problem for Tottenham Hotspur this season is their depth, which is the same thing that we said about Arsenal last season. They were leading for how long into the new year, and I kept saying that Arsenal need to get more players. They did get 2-3 players, but in the end it wasn't enough. To win a league, you have to not necessarily go and spend money on 30 world-class players like Manchester City do, which is absolute exception in this time and age, but you need to get a few more players, because these players are going to get tired. These players might get injured. These players might have other issues. You need a bigger depth, and Spurs haven't got that. You take off the first 11 players, and you're left with probably with 4 or 5 players who can take over. Whereas if you look at teams like Manchester City, take their 11 players, they've still got about 15 who can actually come and take over. That is a big problem with Spurs. However, playing-wise, they're playing absolutely beautiful football. It's probably the best football that Spurs have been playing probably since the Venables days, as far as I'm concerned. And we're going back, 25 years, 30 years or so? And the Rebels were absolutely playing beautiful football. They were heading into something big until the dynamite between himself and Alan Sugar. But since then, I think briefly with Ozzy Ardiles, I'll say it was a very exciting football with the famous five, but that didn't do well because I believe we got a goal, haven't we?
We do have a goal, and it comes in North London.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it's Arsenal that have pulled themselves in front against Sheffield United. It's Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0. The Gunners firing once again. They've been on incredible form. They're unbeaten in the Premier League so far this season. And you really felt like Sheffield United was a very timid task for them with the form that they're in. And Eddie Nketiah is the man who gets his name on the score sheet. 28 minutes gone there. And Nketiah puts Mikel Arteta's side 1-0 up. And this is really no surprise. And now it's just going to be a case of really how many are Arsenal going to get. Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0. We're going to go to Johnny Holmes now just to talk about this Burnley penalty appeal. It wasn't given, but was that the right choice, Johnny?
It's a tricky one. I'm sure VAR will have looked at it. Amdouni's in the box and he's being held by Aarons, who really does have a grip of the shirt. He really is tugging there. He really is pulling him to the ground. But I think what counts against Amdouni in this situation, he just flails to the ground and he's obviously looking for it. And you know what? There is something there. I wonder if the overreaction is what tempted the referee to go against him and not award the penalty. Not given. Corner given instead. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1 is still the score. 29 minutes played here.
Matthew Key, take it away and tell Arsenal fans what they want to hear about their Eddie Nketiah goal.
Yes, it is 1-0 to Arsenal. 28 minutes gone. It's been a slow start, but they've done the important thing and got the first goal. And it is Eddie Nketiah that has got it. It was lovely play down the right-hand side. Saka with it, teasing the defenders, find Declan Rice, and what a ball this is. He's adding this into his game. Fizzed into the box with his right foot into a really good area, and it's a great touch from Eddie Nketiah on his right foot, moving at pace, difficult ball to control, but he does it brilliantly. And then it's just if he can find the finish. He's done all the hard work, and with his right foot, he strokes the ball home. Bottom corner, Foderingham had absolutely no chance with that, and that is, as I say, the key for Arsenal. They've broken the deadlock, and the key for Eddie Nketiah as well. He's Gabriel Jesus out with an injury. Nketiah's got his chance, and he's taken it. He's got a goal, his third in the Premier League this season. 28 minutes gone, Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0.
If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bet must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
Oh my word, what is going on here?
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
I don't know how to describe it anymore.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
So close, but yet so far.
Powered by NairaBet.
It's come out of nowhere, really.
The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, the Saudi Pro League.
There's action everywhere you look.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
I want more goals.
It's a show that's packed to the brim.
This is madness. It's chaotic. Superb finish.
You are listening to Football Live.
Brila.
News and engagements never stop on our website.
www.brila.net.
And our social media handles.
889 Brila FM.
On Facebook.
Yes, 889 Brila FM on Facebook. At 889 Brila FM.
On Instagram.
Got it? At 889 Brila FM on Instagram.
And on Twitter.
It's at Brila FM 889 and Brila Sports TV on Google+. Brila.
News and engagements never stop.
So do remember to like all our pages. Do like us.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairoBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey. The latest in-play betting odds from NairoBet.
Yes, the latest odds from NairoBet. Of course, all prices are subject to change. Of course, we're talking about Arsenal. 33 minutes gone. They're leading by a goal to nil. It's 1.05 for Arsenal, so it's not even worth doing anything with that. But I'll tell you how we can do something about that. The draw is 17.0 and a Sheffield United away win is 51.0. Well, how can you do something about the Arsenal game? Well, if you think it's going to be over 3.5 goals, it's 2.38. Or if you think it's going to be over 4.5 goals, it's 4.33. So there is a market definitely for that game. If you think the Arsenal odds are too low and you want Arsenal to win, of course they are at this moment in time. Bournemouth-Burnley was 1-1 after 33 minutes. Bournemouth are slightly favourites now. They're 2.25. The draw is 3.10, and a Burnley away win has just gone up to 3.60. Well, El Clasico after 17 minutes, Barcelona are still leading by a goal to nil. Barcelona now are 1.62 for the win. The draw is 4.20, and an away win is just gone up for Real Madrid for 5.25. Of course, if you look at history over the last 10 years, I think most of the games have been won away. So if you look at that, Madrid has still the chance of doing so. Bayern Munich just about to kick off in the second half. It's still 0-0. Darmstadt playing with 9 men. Bayern Munich playing with 10 men. Bayern Munich are 1.11 for the win. The draw is just gone up to 10.0, and Darmstadt away win is 29.0. Of course, all these prices are from NairoBet website and all subject to change.
Thank you very much, John Kane. All our games have goals in apart from one. That's Bayern Munich v Darmstadt. It's 0-0, but it's not been short of action, has it, Ethan Gardiner? 2 red cards for Darmstadt, 1 red card for Bayern Munich means that in terms of players on the pitch, Bayern Munich are leading by 1 right now. But tell us a bit more about that second half and the game that's actually just kicked off. But give us your half-time report.
Well, as you were saying, it was a lively first half. Both teams clearly taking inspiration from the decor here at the Allianz Arena and seeing red. 3 players sent off. 2 of Darmstadt's centre-backs, they started the game with 3, were sent off, and that led to a goal ultimately for Bayern. That was disallowed. Leroy Sané given as offside. That was the closest Bayern have been to actually taking the lead. A few chances have come their way as well. Kingsley Coman hitting close into the side netting late on in the first half. And Harry Kane, by the sounds of things, doing his best Charlie Taylor impression from a free kick, but blasting over instead of into the back of the net like the Burnley man. It is still 0-0. Darmstadt have made a couple of changes at half-time, bringing on some more defenders, in particular Honsak, who started in the Bundesliga last week, has come on at centre-back to try and shore things up. Whether or not they can hold on for another 45 minutes, only time will tell. But after 46 minutes, it is still Bayern 0, Darmstadt 0.
Let's get to the Arsenal-Sheffield United game at the Emirates Stadium. And that was Arsenal's first shot on target after Eddie Nketiah converted to put his team 1-0 up. From that point onwards, how's the rest of the game gone as we hit half-time here, Matthew?
Well, as you say, Josh, it was Arsenal's first shot on target, which just shows what a good job Sheffield United were doing up to the Arsenal goal. There was nothing they could really do about it, to be honest. But since then, it has been even more Arsenal, to be honest. They've really controlled the ball well since they've gone in front and knocked it out really nicely, and now it does look like it's going to be a big uphill battle for Sheffield United. A brilliant tackle to maybe stop it from being 2-0 just a moment ago. It was Saliba carrying the ball out of defence, and Zinchenko's just got a free role in this team. He's on the team sheet as a left back. He's not playing as one at all. So he's got the ball on the right hand side of Saliba, pinged it to Zinchenko, who's made a run in behind, and a brilliant tackle from Austin Trusty just as the Ukrainian was about to get his shot on the way. Went out for a corner, nothing came of that, but just shows sort of the freedom that Arsenal are being allowed to play with now that they've got that opening goal. 37 minutes gone. Sheffield United need half time here without any further damage, you feel. Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0.
Barcelona have just hit the post, Kane. We're so close to a second.
Yeah, the game's been so end-to-end so far, and it comes from Real Madrid's own mistakes trying to play out from the back. And they try to play out, and Carvajal just tries to pop the ball into midfield where Tukameni is, and the ball's just pinched by Gundogan. He just plays in Lopez, and Lopez just fires a shot in, and it just comes off the post. It's been a really good end-to-end game so far. We've had a few niggly little tackles. The first yellow card coming into the game for Gavi, who makes a late challenge on Toni Kroos, but it's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
And Johnny Holmes, our first injury of the afternoon, but this time for a linesman.
Yeah, it's not something you see very often, is it, that? But the linesman has been limping as he's been dashing up and down the touchline there. A big chance also for Bournemouth has just taken place. A powering header, but a brilliant save by Trafford in the Burnley goal to not only save it the once, but also flap it over the top of the crossbar and behind for another corner. Bournemouth are the side that have dominated possession, I would say, and are the side looking to get on the front foot here. Burnley coming forward with Koleosho, who's been a bit of a danger man on the break with some bursts into the box. Overall, though, I think Bournemouth will be happier with the latest spell of the game. 1-1 between the two sides, 39 minutes played here.
Bayern Munich, they had the ball in the back of the net before half-time. However, it was ruled out, VAR intervening and drawing the scores back to 0-0. But that hasn't deterred them, Ethan Gardner, and Darmstadt have just had to pull off an incredible stave to stop the Bavarian team from going 1-0 up.
Well, it's going to take something superhuman from Darmstadt to hold on here. And that's exactly what's just happened. Their goalkeeper, Schuhen, he found himself having to defend a free kick which came in towards Bayern centre-back De Ligt, who was unmarked. It was a powerful header, and all the goalkeeper could really do was make himself big and hope he got in the way. And he did just that. It came rebounding out off his legs and was cleared. And as the ball went away, we saw a massive roar of approval from the defenders and the goalkeeper. They know that if they're going to hold on to anything in this game, it's going to have to be just like that over and over again. After 50 minutes, Bayern can't believe that they're not 1-0 up. It's still 0-0 here.
Earlier today, then, we obviously saw Chelsea draw 4 to defeat to Brentford 2-0. The other game we were covering with Matthew Temporal was Leeds United win against Huddersfield. They were 4-0 up in half. They were 4-0 up at half-time thanks to 2 goals to Somerville. From there, they just cruised to a victory. Huddersfield did peg one back with about 20 minutes to spare. However, that wasn't enough, and Leeds got the 3 points. But for now, here is your full-time report with Matthew Temporal.
A thrilling first half as far as Leeds United were concerned has earned them a very comfortable 4-1 home win against Yorkshire rivals Huddersfield Town. And it was the Crescencio Somerville show as he was involved in all 4 goals today, scoring 2. That's now 5 goals in his last 5 games for Leeds United, who look like a force to be reckoned with in the Championship this season under Daniel Farke. There was to be no hat-trick for Somerville or James as they were taken off early in the second half, just before Huddersfield pulled a goal back, with a finish from defender Mikel Helik. Huddersfield manager Darren Moore has been given a lot to think about after 2 very bad results on the spin now, conceding 4 goals in both of those games. But for Daniel Farke, he'll be hoping Leeds can continue the kind of performance at Ellen Road today, surely with an eye on an immediate return to the Premier League. It was Leeds United 4, Huddersfield 1.
Thank you, Matthew Temporal. While we were listening to that, Bayern Munich have put themselves in front.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's Harry Kane with his 9th goal, with his 10th goal of the season, making a name for himself on German shores, Ethan Gardner.
Yes, and I suppose it was only a matter of time. Eventually, Darmstadt have been broken down. It was lovely interplay between the Bayern midfield and attack, and the ball worked its way out to the right-hand side to right-back Nusser Mazraoui, who played in a low cross, and Kane stooped down in front of the defender for a diving header that went right past the goalkeeper. It's a very well taken goal from a very, very good striker. And we know that he's currently watching his former team Tottenham in a title race back in the UK. He'll be hoping that his goals can power Bayern to a similar type of challenge later on this season. After 52 minutes, Kane has put Bayern 1-0 up here. It is Bayern 1, Darmstadt 0.
Harry Kane is the difference in these type of games, isn't he, Ethan? He's the reason that but he always gives the team opportunities. He's the difference.
He is always the difference. He's a talisman as well, but he can bring players into play. He's got 6 assists so far this season, as well as the 10 goals in the Bundesliga and a couple in the Champions League. So even when he's not the threat up front in terms of scoring goals, he can bring players in, and he has been very, very important to Bayern's attacking play so far this game, linking up really nicely with Sane and Koeman on the wings and Musiala in attacking midfield. It's no surprise that he scored, though. He is, as you say, ever present in attack and always a danger.
A goal in Germany and a near goal in North London, but Fotheringham has had to pull up a fantastic stop to keep the scores. Arsenal won.
Yes, it is Arsenal very much camped almost inside the Sheffield United box, let alone the half at the moment. Josh just trying to get a second goal before half-time, which would probably kill the game off, you'd have to say. A couple of chances since you were last with me. Firstly, Martinelli, as you mentioned, that save from Fotheringham. Really good interchange between Martinelli and Saka down the left-hand side. And then 1-2 found Martinelli in a lot of space. Hit a fierce shot with his right foot that was tipped around the post by Fotheringham. And just now, Smith Rowe almost on the score sheet in his first start of the season. He beat Fotheringham, but the amount of Sheffield United bodies that were there, Fotheringham went the wrong way. Luckily for him, Austin Trusty was there with a big block for yet another corner, which Sheffield United have managed to clear. The press for Arsenal is relentless at the moment. Sheffield United can't really string a pass together at all. They need to get into half-time desperately here. There'll be a few minutes added on, see if they can get through till then. 43 gone at the moment, and it's still Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0.
I mean, this is what we've come to associate with Arsenal, this relentless pressure, don't we? This almost, very similar to Manchester City. This is the way they suffocate opposition attacks and just wear them down, and and it's just a matter of time before they get their second, surely.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, if you ask most Arsenal fans, they would say they haven't quite been at their brilliant flowing best, certainly compared to where they were at the start of last season. But this has been a lot better since they've gone one up. And as you say, Josh, the pressure looks like it could pay at any moment.
Thank you very much, Matthew Key. Good things comes in pairs, but Bayern, that is the case, because they're 2-0 up.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
After their first through Harry Kane just a short while ago, they have doubled their advantage as they are now crumbling. They're crumbling down Darmstadt, and really we thought it'd be a matter of time before that happened. Them down to the lesser man after actually Bayern Munich were the ones who were reduced to the 10 men originally, but 2 red cards followed for Darmstadt, and now they're really bathing in misery as Bayern get their second. Ethan Gardner.
Yes, and it's Leroy Sané, and this time there's no doubt that the goal will stand. Bayern Munich just completely choking Darmstadt here. No chance of Darmstadt being able to play the ball out of defence. It's Harry Kane who is in a deep, almost central midfield role this time, actually winning the ball and playing it forward. The assist comes from Konrad Laimer, and it's another low cross from the right-hand side, tapped into a pretty much open goal from Leroy Sané. Bayern have had to wait quite a while to open the scoring, but now the floodgates could have opened after 56 minutes. It is Bayern 2, Darmstadt 0.
El Clasicos are always so fast-paced and ferocious, Kane Wears, and we've got chances and arguing.
Unbelievable chance again, and it's an unbelievable bit of skill from João Felix, who picks the ball up in the middle of the park and just nutmegs Antonio Rudiger and goes through on goal and is absolutely wiped out by Carvajal. No foul was given to the frustration of Xavi on the sideline. For some strange reason, Vinicius Jr. runs over to Xavi on the sideline, and they have to be separated by Carlo Ancelotti. So it's end-to-end. There's only 1 goal in it, though, but there's a few chances so far. Both teams are getting stuck in. It's 30 minutes played. It's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
What are Real Madrid not doing, Kane? Why are Barcelona just at free will with chance after chance?
ultimately Real Madrid can't get the ball. Barcelona look like their old side from probably 10 years ago. They're popping the ball around great, and actually something tactical today. It's interesting that Javi's went with 5 defenders today, and when we would think that João Cancelo started off as the centre forward, and now he's playing centre mid, and it looks like Barcelona are really compact in the middle of the park and not playing with a centre forward and stopping the likes of Jude Bellingham getting on the ball. And ultimately it's paying off so far, because Barcelona have had at least 60% possession so far in the game and are really stopping Real Madrid just getting any chance to get a foothold in the game.
Football, eh? How can Cancelo playing as a centre forward and midfielder? Football really just does get more confusing each day, doesn't it? It doesn't really feel like a sport anymore, but more like a rocket science where these managers are always innovating and pushing boundaries. As Kane Weir described brilliantly there, it is Barcelona 1. It is Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 2. And now we're going to go to Ethan Gardner, because Masala has just had a massive chance to make it 3.
This game is just astounding. Bayern Munich were in on the goalkeeper. It was pretty much a 3-on-1. Harry Kane was holding the ball. He played it to his right. And Jamal Musiala, who scored the goal that won them the Bundesliga last season, a consistently world-class attacker, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, with the goal at his mercy, put the ball wide. It's unbelievable. Everything about this game is unbelievable. 3 red cards, big chances missed. But the only thing that one can believe is that after 58 minutes, Bayern are 2-0 up here against Darmstadt.
Half-time at the Emirates. We'll get to Matthew Key shortly. Before that, we're going to go to Johnny Holmes, because there's a potential handball, maybe, against Trafford. Did he handle it outside the box, Johnny Holmes? What happened there?
Oh, it certainly looks like, Josh. He comes out to collect a ball as he's got Semenyo running at him, who, by the way, has had a brilliant half. He's been causing a lot of problems for Bournemouth and recently had a shot deflected just wide. Trafford's come out to greet him right on the edge of the box, right on the edge of that 18-yard line, and he handles the ball, brings it away from Semenyo, and it kind of gets hooked to his shoulder, and he's clutching it, and he's moving outside of the box, and it looks like he crosses that line. It looks like he's handling the ball hooked up against his shoulder with his hand over the 18-yard line. Ref says, I'm not having it, no penalty, no red card, no free kick, nothing given. He's looked beyond it, and it is in fact now half-time between the two sides. I would say Bournemouth have had the better share of the possession and the chances, but it's 1-1 at half-time here at the Vitality.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Holmes, would you like to give us your half-time report now, seeing as we're with you?
I absolutely can, Josh. Not a problem at all. And I guess what I would say mainly is that Bournemouth will be the happier of the two sides, despite the fact that Burnley went in front through an absolute screamer. What an effort it was by Charlie Taylor, blasting a half volley from the edge of the box into the corner. Nothing the goalkeeper could do about that one. But since then, it's been all Bournemouth, and eventually they did get a goal back. It was that man Semenyo, who's been fantastic. And in the end, at the end of the first half, that is, it's going to be 1-1. 1 to Bournemouth, 1 to Burnley, and surely Bournemouth will be looking to kick on in the second half.
Thank you, Johnny Holmes. Musiala could have converted his chance just a second ago, but you can't give him 2 bites of the cherry because he's going to take the second.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
3 for Bayern, a goal for Musiala, and that is game, set, match, Ethan Gardner.
Well, as you said, you can't give a man of Musiala's quality a second chance. He's taken this one, and actually it's a much more difficult one. Bayern had won a free kick just on the edge of the box. It was laid off by Kane to Musiala, who was stood away from the usual takers. He took the ball into his stride, fired it low through a crowded box into the bottom left-hand corner. The goalkeeper, Schuhen, was completely caught off guard, didn't even try and dive for it. Darmstadt were holding on for quite a while, but unfortunately it looks like they're going to have a cricket score racked up against them after 61 minutes. Bayern are now 3-0 up over Darmstadt here at the Allianz Arena.
And now let's go to Matthew Key, because Arsenal, well, they've got a fantastic record against promoted sides, haven't they? They are unbeaten in 36 Premier League home fixtures against newly promoted sides. That was the last time they lost to Newcastle in 2010. And it looks like that record isn't going to change anytime soon, because they might only be 1-0 up here, Matthew, but they are really cruising to this win against Sheffield United.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, Josh. And another little stat for you is they've also got a fantastic record in recent times of not losing when they've gone a goal up. Obviously, a couple of times this season, the Spurs game comes to mind where they've been ahead and not ended up with the 3 points. But genuinely their record is pretty good when leading. And that is the case here. It was a quiet half an hour, to be honest, from an Arsenal point of view. Sheffield United held their own for the first 28 minutes, but the deadlock was finally broken, and it was Eddie Nketiah with the goal in the team today, in for the injured Gabriel Jesus, and he's taken his chance really well. Declan Rice whipped the cross in. Nketiah brought it down brilliantly. That was the hard part. The finishing was the easy part, and he made it look so calmly, slotting in with his right foot. Since then, it has been completely one-way traffic, with Martinelli and Smith Rowe both coming close. Sheffield United can take some encouragement from the fact they're only one down, but as you say, Josh, that formidable record against promoted sides and that record of being in front, it looks like an uphill battle for Paul Heckingbottom's side if they're going to get their first Premier League win today. Half time here at the Emirates, Arsenal 1, Sheffield United 0.
Half times in the Premier League, but in the El Clasico, we've still got a few minutes there, Kane Wiz. What's been happening?
Yeah, just as you've came to us there was actually a massive chance again for Gavi, where he's picked the ball up in the middle of the park and just started driving forwards with it. And Real Madrid cannot cope with Barcelona today, and more so Antonio Rudiger. I feel like at times he's forgetting where he's playing position-wise and stepping out from that back four into midfield where he shouldn't be going and leaving gaps for runners to go and step into. But at the minute, there's about 60% possession for Barcelona, and rightly so, because Real Madrid can't get the ball. But about 36 minutes, I think it's been. It's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
A nightmarish afternoon for Darmstadt. Only gets a whole lot worse because they're now 4-0 down to Bayern Munich.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it's Sane's goal that makes it 4, Ethan Gardner.
It is indeed Sane's goal, and it's a wonderful whip, powerful finish, almost unsavable from the German international. Bayern again in complete control. Kingsley Coman with the pass towards Sane. He didn't really have the goal at his mercy. He was just outside the box. There were defenders around him, but we've seen from his previous spells at Manchester City and his previous years at Bayern that he's got a hell of a shot on him. He unleashed one directly at the goal, and it was a great finish. After 64 minutes here, Bayern 4, Darmstadt 0, and it looks like it's only going to be more.
Before we do go to FJ and the team, crossbar Real Madrid, give us a quick update there, okay?
Yeah, Barcelona have just been reminded why not to give Toni Kroos time on the ball. He picks the ball up in the middle of the park and just clips a diagonal pass to Carvajal, who's just rushing in. And from the edge of the box, he just absolutely fires one on the outside of his foot, on the volley, and it just hits the crossbar and goes out for a goal kick. Still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
And let's go to FJ and the team.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
Let's get straight in the goal, shall we? Because Arsenal have taken the lead against Sheffield United.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
I say taking the lead. It's their second goal of the afternoon, and it's a double for Nketiah. Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 0, and they are starting the second half as they mean to go on. They dominated the first 45 minutes, Matthew Key, and they're certainly not letting it off in the second 45.
No, it's 2-0. It's Nketiah again, and less than 5 minutes into this second half, you would have to say that could well be that. It's a goalkeeping error, I'm afraid, from a Nottingham Forest point of view, because after some good work from Smith Rowe and Nketiah, Arsenal won a corner, whipped in by Saka. Looked like it was going to be an easy take for the goalkeeper, but he's tried to catch it. He's not been able to do that. So, and Nketiah, like the poacher he is there to smash home from close range. I'm sure this is going to be checked because it looks like Ben White is standing right next to the goalkeeper. It doesn't look like much in truth in terms of the way of contact. It just looks like Boddingham's dropped the ball, but we know how protective the referees are about goalkeepers, so this will be interesting. But for the time being, it is Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 0 as we await this VAR check.
Yeah, VAR there. The goals are certainly out for Sheffield United today. It has been given for Arsenal. Confirmed there, Matthew Key. Arsenal are going to be going 2-0 up for this game. Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 0. As I said, the goals are out for Sheffield United in North London. An awful start for them. And in the Allianz Stadium for Darmstadt, it's certainly the house of horrors for them because they are losing 7-0.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
The spooks are getting scarier with every goal, Ethan Gardner. But let's talk about the Harry Kane strike from the halfway line. I mean, I would say that's once in a blue moon, but for Harry Kane, he scored various goals from the halfway line. Incredible stuff.
Well, I mentioned previously, this is a game where unbelievable things are happening. I couldn't believe my eyes when he saw that. He was actually just inside his own half. There wasn't even anything seemingly happening in the game, but the goalkeeper was off his line. Kane spotted that and he scored. But since last we spoke, things have escalated a little. It is 7-0 here to Bayern. And the record in the Bundesliga is a 12-0 win that came in 1978. Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Dortmund 12-0. And Bayern are certainly aiming for that. They've actually brought on more attackers as things are carrying on here. We're into the 81st minute. They've brought on the likes of Mathis Tell and Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Clearly, Thomas Tuchel has got the record in his sights, and Darmstadt, well, it's a truly horrifying evening for them now, and this is going to be scarier than Halloween. They'll be having flashbacks all week to this until they can make it right next weekend. After 82 minutes now, Bayern 7, Darmstadt 0.
If memory serves me right, that's Harry Kane's second goal from the halfway line. I know a few years ago he scored one against Juventus, and I want to say he scored one, is it against Barcelona? I'm not too sure. I'll get my producer John Kane on that to confirm. But they definitely scored one against Juventus a few years ago in the International Champions Cup in Asia. But he has scored one most recently as well. So Harry Kane on the score sheet. He's double of the afternoon. Masala getting in. He's double of the afternoon as well. Then three. Sane, Kane and Masala are becoming a very scary and potent front three, aren't they? Really getting to their rhythm now. And that's why Bayern Munich are leading by a healthy margin. Not healthy margin, probably an understatement. 7-0 against Darmstadt. Thank you, Ethan Gardner. To Johnny Holmes now, because Bournemouth are really on the front foot. Both teams level in this game, but they're the one that are seizing the initiative in this second half.
Bournemouth have picked up exactly where they left off in the first half. They were by far the better side in terms of possession and chances over the last 15 minutes of the first half, and they've come out of the blocks straight away in the second as well. Solanke's just been sent through a lofted long ball over the top to Solanke, who couldn't quite reach it ahead of Burnley goalkeeper Trafford, who was just about able to deal with it. And earlier before that, Tavernier had a free kick that Trafford had to deal with, flapped it away as he has done a couple of times this game, just choosing to flap the ball over the crossbar rather than catch or parry away. Bournemouth in the groove. Burnley have got to do something to change things. They've brought on Rodriguez to try and get some onus going up front rather than going backwards, which is the direction Burnley have been going throughout the rest of this half so far. It's Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1, and 50 minutes played here.
Is this game really, I mean, we spoke about it before, Johnny, but is this game really developing how we thought? A very open game. Must be incredibly entertaining to watch.
I would say definitely, and I think what's cost Burnley is their willingness to try and go toe-to-toe with Bournemouth here, who are quite happy to stroke the ball around, and when Burnley have it, they let them have it. They stand off them, not pressing too high. They know they can retrieve possession, and, you know, when they have possession, they don't look like relinquishing it. Burnley have finally, over the last minute or so, got a few touches on the ball and spread a few passes around. It has been open, but I would say that has favoured Bournemouth more than Burnley so far.
Thank you, Johnny Holmes. The Kane whiz now, because we want to discuss the half-time between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Barcelona are leading 1-0 in that game. And essentially, Kane, I mean, they dominated from start to finish, isn't it? And Real Madrid, they've got it all in that second half. It sounds incredibly loud there. I mean, the atmosphere is booming.
Yeah, the atmosphere has been great, actually, in the Olympic Stadium in that first half. But it's just been so in control for Barcelona, and 60% possession says it all. But it's been a nightmare the first half for Real Madrid. Even how the goal came from of just the midfield of Gavi, of Gundogan, of Lopez, just building up. The ball just popping into Torres, but it was intercepted, it was, by Rudiger. But he actually then plays it back to Gundogan, who's then running through on goal and just slides it in. And I think that was the start, really, of what would be a terrible first half for Real Madrid. They've caused their own problems, but they've really struggled to be able to get a hold of the ball. And Barcelona look like the Barcelona of old, just getting on the ball and just popping it about. So at half-time, it's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
What can Real Madrid do to get in a foothold in this game? Like you say, they've just not been able to get any sort of rhythm going. What can they do?
I think they need to get some of their players more like Valverde and more so Bellingham into the game. Bellingham at times has looked like he's been playing as a sort of a centre forward, but Gundogan's just been man marking him and stopping him really get on the ball. And I think the big opportunity for now Real Madrid in the second half is maybe to make the pitch that little bit bigger, not be so narrow, and to just try and get on the ball and not rush it forwards and try and play it through to Vinicius, because Barcelona, and we've seen it just at the end of the first half, Vinicius tried to counter-attack with the ball and was just rugby tackled off the pitch, and it caused a little bit of franticness where Real Madrid are just trying to fight against Barcelona, and never mind Tyson Fury against Ngannou tonight. It could have been Vinicius against Xavi on the sideline at one point with a bit of to and fro, and Real Madrid just need to settle and just get on the ball and just concentrate on their football and just not try and force things.
Thank you very much, Ken Wiz. We're going to have to go to the Emirates Stadium because there's been a third goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Arsenal definitely on forcing things on. They're in free-flowing mode, and it's an Eddie Nketiah hat-trick. You've got to say, he gets a lot of stick from Arsenal fans, doesn't he, in terms of his finishing ability, Matthew Key, but he's put Sheffield United to the sword today, and he's going to be taking on the match ball come the end of the 90 minutes.
He certainly is, Josh, and in some style as well. What a goal this is from the Arsenal striker. He's got the 14 on his back, an iconic number, of course worn by Thierry Henry back in his day, and I tell you, Thierry Henry would be proud of this one. It's a brilliant goal out of absolutely nothing. Arsenal with a bit of possession. Smith Rowe drives, finds Nketiah, one touch, turn, bang, what a strike. Right-footed, about 25 yards out, top corner. A sensational strike past Foderingham before he even saw it. Doesn't score many of those in Nketiah. We know him for being a poacher, but wow, that is one to remember. What a way to bring up his hat-trick. And as you see, nice moment in the celebration as Saka presents him with the match ball. He deserves that. What a performance, what a goal. And it's Arsenal 3, Sheffield United 0. That is certainly game over now.
Eddie Nketiah is in good company tonight because Harry Kane has just followed suit with his hat-trick.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Two English internationals getting their hat-tricks this afternoon. One in England, one in Germany. And for Bayern Munich, that hat-trick signifies their 8th goal of the evening, Ethan Gardner.
Well, it's not from the halfway line, but that isn't to say it's any less impressive. Kane is actually tripped as he's shooting, which not only wrong-foots the goalkeeper, but sends him falling. And on his way down, he manages to get a shot off, which goes into a more or less empty net. Bayern 8, Darmstadt 0. Kane has been incredibly impressive. England's all-time top goal scorer, also now going for his first Bundesliga top goal scorer award. He's in a battle, of course, with Girassi of Stuttgart and Boniface of Leverkusen. But if he keeps putting in hat-trick performances like today, he'll definitely get there. After 89 minutes, it is Bayern 8, Darmstadt 0.
We've got to talk about those two strikers, but we're going to go to Matthew Key first. Matthew, Eddie Nketiah, so much has been made of his abilities to fill in the boots of Jesus. Jesus obviously missing through injury today, picking up a knock against midweek against Sevilla. Many people have thought, in recent history, he wasn't able to step up for Jesus, but today he's done that superbly. He just seems with each game to be getting a lot more confident in Nketiah and showing the player which Mikel Arteta and Gareth Southgate thought he could be.
Yes, certainly. I think one thing that's never been in question at all is his finishing ability. I mean, all throughout his sort of youth career. He's the leading scorer for England in under 21s level as well. His finishing's never been in question. It's what else he can bring to his game. And the first 2 goals, a classic Eddie Nketiah, you'd say, in the box, that sort of fox in a box sort of striker where he's been right place, right time, and done the simple thing. But that third goal is something that as you say, Josh, Mikel Arteta and Gareth Southgate I will be really, really pleased about, because he just shows the confidence that he's playing with, that he's picked up the ball and he's not even thought about it twice. He's just decided to unleash, and I say a brilliant goal, one definitely worth watching on the highlights later, and that will do him the world of good. Jesus obviously so good against Sevilla on Tuesday night, so to have him get injured would have been a massive blow to Arsenal, but brilliant for Nketiah to step up and grab a hat-trick. And they've got a tough run of fixtures. West Ham in the League Cup on Tuesday, that's a competition that I'm sure Arteta will be looking to win, and Newcastle away next weekend, massive fixture, and they'll need Nketiah to play like that if Jesus is going to be injured for a few weeks.
I think what you said there, Matthew, is so key. Confidence, I think 24 now, Eddie Nketiah, which isn't young, but it is. But in terms of football, that sort of middle age, maybe just getting into that middle part of your career. But they need confidence, they need time, and so much, especially in the modern day of football, so much is expected so quickly. And if you don't generate those goods, and especially the striker, if you don't generate those goals instantly, we've seen, with Jackson, Nikita Jackson today, he was getting a lot of abuse from Chelsea fans. Things can turn south for strikers quickly, but Arteta has given Nketiah the time. He's given him that time to grow and develop the confidence, and they're reaping the rewards of that today.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, striker, you could probably say the most scrutinised position on the football pitch, along with the goalkeeper. And last year, when Jesus got injured, it certainly wasn't the start of the derail of Arsenal's title hopes, but they did really miss him after the first few games, where Nketiah started off quite well, but then Arsenal really began to miss Jesus. And likewise today, you think with him playing so well in midweek, he's going to be a big miss for Arsenal, but they've not missed him at all, to be honest, with the way Nketiah has played. And it's up to him now, if he's got 3 weeks of really cementing his place as the striker, it's up to Jesus to win it back. And that sort of competition is what every top manager wants in his squad. Obviously, we see it with City, the prime example, Liverpool as well. So Nketiah's really got to grab this opportunity with both hands and let Gabriel Jesus know that he's not just going to walk back into this team.
Real Madrid have come up fighting in the El Clasico, came with another chance for them as they look to get back on level terms.
Massive opportunity for Real Madrid to get back into this game, and it's just a long ball that goes towards Christensen at the back for Barcelona, and he just heads it into the middle to Gundogan, but Tukameni just pinches the ball off him and starts driving forwards. He actually then knocks it past Martinez and gets in goal 1v1 with Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and he should just place the ball in the back of the net and somehow fires the ball over at the top, and it goes out for a goal kick. 48 minutes gone, it's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
Bournemouth have scored a league low 6 goals this season, while their shot conversion rate of 5.9% is the worst in the Premier League. Are we seeing the reasons for that in this game against Burnley, Johnny Holmes? Because they're peppering the goal, they're piling the pressure, but that first goal still evades them.
Yeah, we're seeing anything but that second goal for Bournemouth to put them in front in this game. They've been swinging crosses into the box. They've had chances, a free kick for Tavernier that was parried away by Trafford in the Burnley goal, who then clattered into Solanke. That one could have gone either way, could have been a penalty, not given in the end. But Bournemouth are just having shot after shot, putting balls into the box, firing balls into the box at pace, and nothing so far seems to be quite coming off for them. And the shooting has been slightly lacklustre from Bournemouth. Everything but the finish seems to be there. But as we know, it's the goals that get you those 3 points. And so far, Bournemouth haven't quite been able to find the back of the net, but they really are probing. It's Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1, 64 minutes played.
Are we seeing that tactical naivety of Vincent Kompany? He's a relatively new manager, probably hasn't had to develop those skills and that nous yet. So are we seeing that right now?
I think we're just seeing Burnley struggle to get a foothold into the game here. I see what Kompany is trying to do. He wants to play out from the back. He wants to play free-flowing, attacking football. But Bournemouth are just stifling any opportunity for Burnley to get out of even their own half and sometimes their own box. They're just clearing the ball away, and back come Bournemouth again. They need to make changes, do Burnley, and they have got some substitutes warming up, and I think they're going to need them. They've got a couple of players, Cullen and Taylor, in the book as well, so we might see some substitutions to try and avoid any risks regarding going down to 10 men. Burnley need to change something here.
Arsenal are packing away at the Emirates. That hat-trick for Eddie Nketiah has signalled the end of the afternoon for various players, Matthew Key.
Yeah, 2 changes for Arsenal. On the either side of the wings, it's Ben White, who really has been playing as a right winger today, really supported Bukayo Saka down that right-hand side. He's gone off for Tomiyasu, who really impressed at left-back in midweek, who came in for Zinchenko. And on the other side, Martinelli's gone off. He's been really sharp today, even though he hasn't managed to get himself on the score sheet. Has gone down a couple of times holding his ankle, so no real surprise to see him off with this game done and dusted. And Leandro Trossard, who of course got the equaliser last weekend, he's on to see if he can make another impact for Arsenal in what remains of this game. Plenty of opportunity for himself to potentially get himself on the score sheet once again, because we're about halfway through this second half now, and it's still Arsenal 3, Sheffield United 0.
The Gunners are packing up, and in the Bundesliga, teams are packing up across the league as we etch into the final minutes of injury time. Wolfsburg have turned things around and are now beating Wolfsburg 2-1. They were trailing 3-2. They were trailing 2-1 in that game. Wolfsburg 3, Wolfsburg 2. Werder Bremen have doubled their advantage to Union Berlin. 97 minutes gone. They're well on their way to a 2-0 win against Union Berlin. Werder Bremen 2, Union Berlin 0. Borussia Mönchengladbach, they ended up beating Heidenheim 2-1. And Stuttgart, well, they can't just come back against Hoffenheim. They were trailing 2-0 in that game at one point. They got the 2 goals back, but in the end, that wasn't enough, losing 3 to Hoffenheim there. And unless they can get a late goal and salvage one, it's going to be a 3-2 defeat to Hoffenheim. Coming up at 5:30, it's RB Leipzig v FC Cologne. In the Serie A, Sassuolo drew 1-1 with Bologna. And coming up at 5 o'clock is Lecce v Torino. In the Nigerian NPFL, it is Gombe and Plateau. They're drawing 0-0. Benadryl and Aqua United are also 0-0. And Engu and Kano are currently evens. Can't get my words out of my mouth. Honours evens there 1-1. And in the Saudi Pro League as well, Abach are drawing 0-0 with Al Shabab. They're drawing 0-0 with Al Shabab, and Al Faiha are also drawing 0-0 with Al Nassr. Cristiano Ronaldo yet to wave his magic wand and wave his magic boot and try and put Al Nassr 1-0 up in that game. In the La Liga as well, Almeria are currently lost 2-1 to Las Palmas, and Barcelona are losing 1-0 to Real Madrid. But Kane Weir's Kepa has just they've hit the wall. Barca hit the post, and then Kepa generated a fantastic save.
Unbelievable chance to make it 2-0, and Barcelona will be disappointed that they haven't. And it's João Cancelo picks the ball up out wide and just pops in a ball into the box, and Martinez is up from centre half and he just powers a header towards the goal and it hits the post. It comes out and Gavi's actually making a third man run into the box and gets 1v1 only about 5 or 6 yards out with Kepa and fires the ball goalwards, and an unbelievable save by Kepa that turns the ball out for a corner, and then ultimately from that corner Real Madrid clear the lines. Barcelona will be so disappointed that they didn't make that 2-0, but 53 minutes in, it's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
We spoke about those full times in the Bundesliga, and one of those was Bayern Munich running out 8-0 winners against Darmstadt. And here is Ethan Gardiner with your full-time reports.
Well, with the growing number of challenges in Germany, there's been a lot of talk recently as to whether or not Bayern can keep up their monopoly of the Bundesliga. And an early red card here only added fuel to the fire before they were handed a get-out-of-jail-free card when Darmstadt also saw red. From there, it was a case of taking a chance, and it was Harry Kane who was the first to roll the dice and score, before the likes of Musiala and Sane took some more from the community chest. Unfortunately for Darmstadt, it turns out they were just visiting, as Bayern gave us an indication of how they may fare in the upcoming Bundesliga title race with a dominant performance. A hat-trick from Kane, an impressive attacking display, and despite the fact Joshua Kimmich got sent off after 4 minutes, Bayern run out here 8-0 winners at the Allianz Arena. Bayern 8, Darmstadt 0.
Bayern Munich running out winners there, perfectly summed up by Ethan Gardner in Bournemouth. Johnny Holmes is watching over an absolute classic between them and Burnley, where Bournemouth are peppering the goal. They should be running out winners, but right now, Burnley are holding on for dear life.
I don't know how Bournemouth haven't scored even a couple here. They could be out of sight in this game. As things are, they haven't even got the lead at the moment. Several chances, including one for Solanke. It's a lovely ball through to him in the box by Billing, who slides it into Solanke, who tries to fashion a little flick goalwards. But unfortunately, it's tame and it's straight at Trafford, who doesn't really need to move that far to claim the ball. But Bournemouth, how many chances are they going to need to stick one in the back of the net? If it stays like this, yes, Bournemouth will be happy with their performance. But I tell you what, Burnley would take the point. It's still Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1, 70 minutes played here.
In times like this, they're going to turn to Dominic Solanke, aren't they? We spoke about how influential he is over Bournemouth. He's been involved in 5 of their 6 goals this season. Any sort of inkling that he will be able to get involved?
He's certainly been involved. He's certainly had chances, but I'm getting the impression with Solanke that he needs a couple of sighters before he hits the back of the net, because if he didn't, he would have taken them by now. He could have had a couple of goals already, including that chance that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago where he tried to fashion a little flick goalwards. Didn't quite work out for him. But I tell you what, if they keep knocking on the door, at some point it's going to fall down. Bournemouth will be hoping that soon. Still 1-1.
To the Emirates, which I can imagine's in a very happy mood, Matthew Key.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, to be honest, Josh. To be fair, Sheffield United, the first 20 minutes, had managed to quieten it down, which is always sort of your main aim when playing away from home. But since the Nketiah goal, it's been bouncing, to be honest. And when that third goal from the striker went in, it certainly did not dampen the atmosphere at all. Crowd absolutely delighted that their man has got 3 goals today, as we see another change for Arsenal. And it's Bukayo Saka getting a rare rest. He's off to a big ovation, and on comes Reece Nelson, another one through the Arsenal academy that is going to make come on for Saka, who's captained Arsenal today. Big moment for him. Got the armband last week against Chelsea, but got it from the start today, and he hands the armband over to who else but Eddie Nketiah. 72 minutes gone, Arsenal 3, Sheffield United 0.
Barcelona, they dominated that first half against Real Madrid. They were in absolute control, playing rings around their rivals really in Real Madrid. But Kane weird, they didn't take the chances. They didn't really make more of that domination. So only winning 1-0 in that game, as that just left a window of opportunity for Real Madrid.
Yeah, and Real Madrid are really starting to get back into the game now. And Carlo Ancelotti's just made a sub of bringing off Mendy and bringing on Camavinga. And Camavinga's starting to go into the centre of the park just to get on the ball a little bit more. And he's actually just had a shot saved there by Marc-Andre ter Stegen. I think really probably in the second half what's improved more is the fact that Real Madrid have just settled on the ball a bit more, trying to keep the ball and not try and force it and just settle themselves into the game a little bit more, and it's helped them get up the pitch a lot more and just give them a couple of opportunities. But as you say, they need to take one of those opportunities, because 57 minutes in, it's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
And now let's go all the way back to the Emirates, the place we started. We're going a little bit 1-2-1-2 in reverse, back to the Emirates, where Smith Rowe has just been replaced by a Football Live favourite. I mean, remember Gianluca, don't we? I mean, he looks a little bit like Fabio Vieira. He's not coming on the pitch because it is Vieira's coming on instead.
Yes, and say Josh, he makes way for Emil Smith Rowe, who, like Saka, such a fan favourite at the Emirates. It's easy to forget that a couple of seasons ago, he scored 10 Premier League goals. Really suffered with injury last year, so didn't get much action at all. But the Arsenal fans delighted to see him back in fit, and he was really good today. To be honest, playing a slightly deeper role than normal in the midfield, where you'd normally see Ødegaard operate, and he just grew into the game the more it went on. So that's encouraging for Arsenal to see. And as you mentioned, another famous Arsenal namesake comes on for him in the form of Fabio Vieira, who's also had a couple of games out with an injury, but gets 15 minutes to get back to some level of fitness here. 75 gone, still Arsenal 3, Sheffield United 0.
And all the way back to the Olympic Stadium in Spain, Cancelo leaving the goal, begging because he had a chance to put the game to rest.
We spoke about earlier on, Josh, what on earth he was doing playing in the forward line for Barcelona today. And actually, that was a reason why it seems Javi's actually picked the ball up sort of in the right back position in his own half and just ran past Tony Cruz, knocked it past him, then knocked it past Camavinga, then got 1v1 with the goalkeeper and just knocked his shot wide. An unbelievable effort, which really deserved a goal in the end of it. But 60 minutes in, it's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
Hallelujah, because finally Bournemouth have their lead against Burnley.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's not Dominic Solanke, it's Philip Billing that gives Bournemouth the breakthrough. Johnny Holmes has spoke all afternoon about how the Cherries have just been at the Burnley goal non-stop. They've been so persistent in their chase of their winner. And with 13 minutes to go, Johnny Holmes, they finally have it.
And it was going to take something special, wasn't it? And this is special. A lot of special goals so far today, and this is no different. Philip Billing has chipped the goalkeeper from way out. We're talking 40, 45 yards. He spots Trafford off his line. Trafford, who's made so many saves to deny so many efforts for Bournemouth. And in the end, Philip Billing looks up and goes, I'm going to give it a go. And he gives it a go. And he gets it. It's a beautiful chip. It's delectable. It's delightful. He floats it over Trafford. And he has absolutely lifted this place. The fans are going crazy. They've been waiting for a goal. They've finally got one. And as you say, hallelujah for Bournemouth. Trafford just couldn't get there. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1. At last, 76 minutes played.
The heavyweight crossover fight of the century is upon us, and NairaBet has you covered. Francis the Predator Ngannou takes on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury in the battle of the baddest. Bet on our partner Ngannou to beat Fury, and we will give you 2 matched free bets no matter the outcome. All you have to do is log in to www.nairabet.com, bet on Ngannou to beat Fury, and you will receive 2 free bets to use as you please. Full details can be found on our promotions page. You must be over the age of 18. Bets must be placed on pre-fight on Ngannou to win on the 2-way odds market. Minimum stake €500. General and free bet terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
Football Live returns to Brila FM tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and we've got 5 games in the Premier League to look forward to. The big one is, of course, at Old Trafford. Manchester City go to Manchester United in the derby, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on that one. But before that late kick-off, there are 4 matches. West Ham against Everton, Brighton against Fulham, Liverpool against Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa entertain Luton Town. PSV against Ajax sounds tasty as well in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. A busy afternoon for your host Chris Baldwin tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock on Football Live, right here on Brila FM.
Oh my word, what is going on here?
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
I don't know how to describe it anymore.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
So close, but yet so far.
Powered by NairaBet.
It's come out of nowhere, really.
The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, the Saudi Pro League.
There's action everywhere you look.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
I want more goals.
It's a show that's packed to the brim.
This is madness. It's chaotic. Superb finish.
Take Brila anywhere, everywhere.
Yes, you can take Brila with you anywhere, everywhere.
The Brila app is available for free download on Google Play. It is also there on the Apple iTunes Store. Yes, on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
Look out for the Brila football and microphone logo with the letters BRILA in green colour.
That is our authentic app. It gives you Brila FM, Brila.net, brillasports.tv, and all the extra betting tips, live score, plus our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, and YouTube posts.
Sports fun. You can post your videos and eyewitness reports.
Brila, B-R-I-L-A. Available for download on Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Josh Bailey.
We just have half an hour left of our Saturday show, so let's get to business then. Arsenal are cruising against Sheffield United 3-0. No need to worry there, Arsenal fans. You have got your 3 points to make a spearhead of North London teams at the top of the table. Bournemouth finally got their goal against Burnley. A Philip Billing 40-yard screamer over the keeper, which means they now lead 2-1. 9 minutes to hold on to get their first win of the season. In the El Clasico, Barcelona are winning 1-0. Cancelo has just had another big chance. I mean, Lewandowski's on the pitch, Kane Weird, but it's Cancelo that seems the most prolific out there.
Yeah, Cancelo again, picking the ball up on the right-hand side. Just driving at Camavinga and knocks it past him again. Gets 1v1 with the goalkeeper and just hits a great shot. And it's actually a really, really good save by Kepa, who pushes it out for a corner. Again, Real Madrid are trying to make changes now with the likes of Rodrigo and Cruz coming off, who've had quiet afternoons, and Joselu and Modric coming on just to try and change the game. But Barcelona look now still a little bit in control, but it's still 1-0, so they need to take their chances. So, yeah, it's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
How delicately in the balance of that game is that? Is it more Barcelona really in control here, Kane, or is it just one moment that could switch it? How does it feel right now?
We all know in these Clasico games that one moment can change it all. Even if it was maybe 2 or 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised if it was about 3-3. But I think it's the pace of Real Madrid that gives them a real opportunity. The likes of Vinicius up there, obviously Joselu's came on now. You've got Bellingham, people Valverde that can chip in with goals, and they've got a bit of pace about them. But Barcelona are doing well to just control the game and control counter-attacks, which I think is the big thing. But in the second half, Real Madrid have got on the ball a lot more and had a couple of chances. But yeah, still 66 minutes, still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
This would be a disappointing defeat for Real Madrid, certainly coming into high hopes. They've been on a bit of a run themselves, but losing to Barcelona, even if it is away from home, you know, Barcelona are a good team. There's no shame in it, but it will definitely leave a sour taste in their mouths. We're going to the Emirates now. Arsenal 3-0 up against Sheffield United. Matthew Key. I mean, what can you tell us? I mean, are Arsenal still on the pitch, or have they backed up and left the defence to their own devices?
No, they're just about still on there, Josh. It's coming to a bit of a tame end, to be honest with you. Obviously, Gustavo Hamer withdrawn there for Sheffield United. You can't fault them for effort whatsoever. They've tried really hard. They just haven't been able to match Arsenal in the key moments. I think you look at the second goal, that was a big moment. Wes Foderingham dropping the ball into the path of Nketiah, who's never going to miss. And that's just the difference in quality. Not the mistake you're not going to get away with at this level. And so that's proved to be the key difference here between these two sides. But Arsenal just knocking it around really now. Looks like Mohamed El Nene is going to enter the fray as their last change. So yeah, it's sort of coming to a close, the proceedings here, even though we've still probably got about 10 minutes left. Sheffield United barely been able to lay a glove on Arsenal the whole game, yet to have a shot on target. Still business as you were. 83 gone, Arsenal 3, Sheffield United 0.
It just felt like a matter of time before this would happen in the La Liga, because we do have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And who else but Jude Bellingham, when you need him, he will. When Real Madrid need a player to step up for them and answer the phone call when they're staring defeat in the face, he answers it, because that's another goal for him today, which draws them level in that game. Kane Wiz.
Unbelievable strike. It actually comes from an unbelievable save beforehand, literally about a crazy 20 seconds for Real Madrid, where just Tchouaméni just picks the ball up about 35 yards out and fires a strike on top corner, and a great save by ter Stegen, and it goes out for a corner. Real Madrid take the corner quick, and Bellingham's in the exact same position as where Tchouaméni was about 10-15 seconds beforehand. He just takes a touch out of his feet and rifles it top corner. 66 minutes played. It's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 1.
Jude Bellingham, he's just incredible, isn't he? The way he just... Oh, it's insane that these goals, these aren't just goals he's scoring, but they're winners. And for a player to do that consistently, Kane, is just absolutely mind-blowing. I think we may have lost Kane Wears there with some technical issues. So we're going to go to Matthew Key now, because there's a VAR check at Arsenal, which could give them a penalty, which will give them a great opportunity to score their fourth, Matthew Key.
Yes, it's come out of nowhere, really. As I said to you last time, the Arsenal just been knocking it around the last 5-10 minutes or so, but out of nowhere, Sheffield United with a rare bit of possession. Arsenal win it back high up the pitch, and Fabio Vieira has collided with, I think that's Oliver Norwood for Sheffield United. And at the start, it looked like nothing was in it, but on closer inspection, looks like he's caught Vieira and indeed on the line, which equals in the box. And yet the referee just pointed to the spot. He's been to the monitor. He's given the penalties. Come back, big cheer from the crowd. Just maintains who is going to take this for Arsenal. Obviously, Nketiah already on for 3 goals, so be interested to see if it's him that gets the fourth. Kai Havertz, you can come back to me after the result of the penalty.
A sweet day out for Arsenal. Could have had to get an even sweeter chance from 12 yards out to make it 3-0. Let's quickly go to Johnny Holmes then. This is talk, Johnny. 2-1 Bournemouth. They scored through that amazing Philip Billing goal. Are they going to get the 3 points from Burnley striking back?
Burnley don't really seem to have many ideas. They can't really get out of their own box, and Bournemouth are the ones looking for the next goal to really put this game beyond doubt. No clear-cut efforts so far for the Cherries. A shot from distance, which could have gone anywhere after a deflection. It was Kirkes who took the shot, but it ended up in the gloves of Trafford, who will be happy to make a save after not quite being able to keep out Billing's brilliant effort. It's all Bournemouth still. Burnley not got long to find something, and they don't really look like doing it at the moment. What can Burnley do in this last 5 to 10 minutes, depending on our time? We shall see, but so far it's looking all Bournemouth at the moment. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, 87 minutes played.
Arsenal 4, Sheffield United 0.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Now, I'm not sure what would have been the NairaBet odds on this, Matthew Key, for Fabio Vieira to take a penalty spot. I mean, we know Arsenal love to change their penalty takers, and they've done it yet again. This time it is the midfielder from 12 yards out, but no complaints because he's put Arsenal 4-0 up.
Yeah, no mistake from Fabio Vieira. Actually scored the winning penalty right back at the start of the season in the Community Shield in their victory over Man City, and has slotted this one away straight down the middle. No worries at all. I don't know why it took so long to get given in the end, really. It was a pretty straightforward decision once it was obvious what happened on the replay, and Nketiah had the ball under his arm, very unselfishly handed it to the substitute Fabio Vieira, who stepped up very calmly, slotted it down the middle. Foderingham dived. Easy goal. Arsenal 4, Sheffield United 0 with 2 minutes of normal time remaining.
Out of nothing, Burnley are right back in it.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
The scores are now level, Johnny Holmes, but there is a VAR check at the Vitality Stadium.
There absolutely is. Is this one going to be given? It's out of absolutely nothing. Burnley have offered just that, nothing this half. And suddenly Rodriguez is sent through, but is he offside? It looks close, and in fact the freeze frame that I've just seen here suggests to me that he might be off. We're going to have to wait for the outcome, and it appears to have been chalked off, does it? I think it's not been given. Burnley, out of nothing, were level, but I don't know if this one's going to be given. You might want to come back to me there, Josh. Still looking at it.
Relegation battles, they are decided by the tightest of margins, and we know how VAR likes to cast its wicked spell over every game it intervenes in. And for Burnley, they seem like the latest victim, as Johnny Holmes described throughout this whole game. Vincent Kompany's team have not been at the races today. They've offered nothing going forward. They've been at the mercy of Bournemouth, who finally got their goal through Philip Billing. And even after that goal, they were going through nothing. But Rodriguez through on goal. He's brought the scores level, but is he just offside? It looks so tight, the Burnley man. It's a long check, so that seems like VAR don't really know which way the pendulum is going to swing. Is it going to be the 3 points for Bournemouth, giving them their first win of this Premier League season? Or is it going to be a vital point for Burnley? For both teams, a point doesn't really do them any good. It won't bring them out the relegation zone. It will do nothing for them. And it's not been given, Johnny Holmes. Burnley can breathe a sigh of relief because the 3 points still remain theirs.
Can you believe this? Burnley were level out of nothing and it's been snatched cruelly away from them. A long VAR check. It was so tight and it's taken a long time, but it looks to be disallowed here for Burnley, who were level and then now they're not. He's offside by absolutely nothing. It's inches we're talking. And VAR took a long time of that. They still don't seem to be sure, to be honest with you. And it appears, though, that it has been chalked off. So as things stand, Bournemouth retain their lead. It's still Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1. And as you say, Josh, you can't write this relegation battle, can you? What a script.
They had the sweet taste of a leveller for a brief second, but now that has been soured out. Burnley equaliser chalked off. Bournemouth now lead 2-1 in that game. We will go to Matthew Key shortly because there's 7 minutes added on time at Arsenal, which a reporter has summed up as pointless. And to be fair, you feel like that's probably fair enough. There has been 4 goals at the Emirates with a penalty, but just put Sheffield United out their misery. They don't want to be playing in that game anymore. They want to be in the dressing room on the coach home, going back to Sheffield. Let's go to the El Clasico then. Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 1, thanks to Jude Bellingham. We are in the dying moments of that game. Kane Wiz, which way is it going to go?
Yeah, for a massive worry for Barcelona is that Real Madrid.
It seems if we have lost Kane Wiz again, then we do really apologise for these technical issues that they are facing. Johnny Holmes, we said the goal has been disallowed, but I don't think it has. It seems like we're still in waiting here.
This is borderline farcical now. The VAR has taken several minutes to decide. I think we might be getting towards 5 minutes of VAR. It looked like the game was about to continue with the goal disallowed, but they've redrawn the lines, and we're seeing VAR now around the stadium. Goal check is still ongoing, and there's still no. The goal was scored on around the 87th minute. And we're on the 92nd minute now, and we've still none the wiser as to whether it's a goal or not. Rodriguez, from my eyes, appears to be offside by the slightest of margins. It's the bun, it's the top knot on the top of his head as he moves his head forward. It appears to be in front of the foot of the Bournemouth defender. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's dragging on and on and on, and nobody knows whether the goal is going to be given. We're still none the wiser. We thought it had been made. The decision appeared to be made. The referee was looking like he was going to move on, and they've redrawn those lines and still can't decide. This is unbelievable. VAR is going to be in the news again.
We normally say take a deep breath when decisions like this are made, but for Burnley fans, it feels like their breath has been padlocked with suspense because, like I said, this has been going off, and I can confirm it has now been ruled out. So Burnley, Johnny Holmes was right originally. Burnley have had their goal ruled out, and Bournemouth are winning again. That will be the longest 5 minutes in any Burnley and Bournemouth fans' life. And for one team, it has been a bit of heartbreak.
Oh, dearie me, the heartbreak, as you say, for the Burnley fans, and waiting for so long. And this is where the debate about the passion and the soul of the game, celebrating a goal and then waiting 7 minutes to find out if you're actually going to be awarded it. It's a bit of a farce. It will be discussed after the game, but we can confirm here, Bournemouth still lead by 2-1, and Rodriguez has not equalised for Burnley. 94 minutes played, 7 added on, but I can see us playing way more than 7 after that.
Matthew Key, you must have your shorts on, your sunglasses on your head, because compared to the game that Johnny Holmes is watching right now, you're on the beach. Arsenal 4, Sheffield United 0, but there's been 10 minutes added on time. Feels a little bit unnecessary, doesn't it?
It is, Josh, because it's now rain is descending on the Emirates Stadium, which it wouldn't have been had this game been full time 5 minutes ago, like it could have potentially been. And we know that the Premier League implementing these rules about the extra time and what have you, but it does seem fairly pointless when it's clear what the result's going to be. The Arsenal players are just knocking it around. They've not really got any sort of intention of getting another goal. Sheffield United players obviously just want the game to be over, but still we play, and we've got about 5 minutes left of the 10 added. Another change that happened since last time you were with me, it's Arsenal's last of the afternoon, and Declan Rice off for Mohamed El Nene. What a reception Declan Rice got. He was obviously such a fan favourite at West Ham, and it's not taken him long to reach that status at Arsenal. It's been fantastic all afternoon, and yeah, deserved ovation for him.
Let's go to Kane Wears now to talk about the El Clasico. Wait, no, before we do go to Kane Wears, we have another goal at the Emirates.
The goals, powered by NairoBet.
A courtesy winner for Sheffield United. No, it's a fifth for Arsenal. Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0, Matthew Key.
Yeah, I forget what I was just saying, Josh. It's not pointless we're playing on at all, was it? Because Arsenal didn't look like they were going to score again, but they have anyway. And it's Takahiro Tomiyasu that has got the goal. He looks absolutely delighted, bless him. Not someone that pops up with one often, but was brilliant midweek against Sevilla and has perhaps got his rewards for that performance with a goal here. It's another one from a corner, just like the second one was. Sheffield United not able to clear properly. Fabio Vieira whipped the ball in, as I say, sort of pinball in the box. Sheffield United couldn't clear, and Tomiyasu hooked it goalwards with his right foot and into the goal. I'm sure there's going to be a VAR check, because there always seems to be. The goal looks fine for me. 5-star performance from Arsenal then, it seems, this afternoon. Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0.
The El Clasico is known for how it platforms the best, the best. And for Jude Bellingham's case, he is probably the best player in the world right now, coming to Real Madrid's salvation. The last time he spoke came with both teams at 1-1 right now, 9 minutes to go. Where is this winner going to come from, if there's going to be a winner?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be coming from Real Madrid, if anyone. They're really starting to get on the ball now and play similar to how Barcelona were in the first half. But they're just getting on the ball and trying to create some chances. Vinicius getting 1v1, but a great save by Marc-Andre ter Stegen. But as you say, 9 minutes left. It's still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0.
It wouldn't be a Premier League weekend without some VAR controversy, would it? And Bournemouth v Burnley is now in the 97th minute, but I'm sure we're going to play way over into the 100th minute, because there was a VAR check against Burnley, Johnny Holmes, which went on for 5 minutes, and two sets of fans who probably hate each other for most of this game have now been reunited for their hate of VAR, because they're singing an interesting chant as this game comes to a close.
They absolutely are. This is embarrassing, shouts both sets of fans in unison. A rare moment of two sets of supporters coming together. And I tell you what, it almost came together for Burnley again. Berg, the number 16 at the back post, surely has to score. He heads it goalwards. It's saved. It comes right back to him. Here you go. Have another chance. Oh, and he stabbed this one over the bar. Burnley could have been level again. Should have been level again. But they're still behind. Can you believe this game? What a relegation scrap. And Bournemouth now are the team that are holding on by the skin of their teeth. What drama here. 2-1 Bournemouth, 98 minutes played.
An agonisingly close game between Bournemouth v Burnley. It's been decided by margins, and Burnley should have been equal, should have been level there, but they've squandered their chance. And will they get a better one? 2-1. Back to Matthew Key, because there was a handball check on that goal. You're saying you have no idea where it's from. I mean, it seemed like the goal was going to be given, but it has been given now. What's happening, Matthew?
Yeah, it's not quite the fast that Johnny's obviously experiencing down on the coast, but it's just so pointless, Josh. I already mentioned the extra time seemed pretty pointless in itself. And there's a check here, and I've seen the goal about 3 times. It's been slow motion, zoomed in and out, and I just cannot see what they were possibly checking for. Apparently, it was a handball. I couldn't see one anywhere in the build-up at all. Certainly wasn't by Tomiyasu, who scored first time, so I don't know why that took so long. Eventually, common sense has prevailed. The goal has been given, and yeah, I'm sure that will add another extra 2 minutes that Sheffield United and their fans won't want as we enter the 100th minute of this game.
Yeah, both our games in the Premier League are really going on. It is full time though as we leave. Matthew Key there, Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0. their North London rivals. They won yesterday against Crystal Palace in what was a very impressive display, and Arsenal have gone and bettered that by that sum, but then some. Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0. We'll get a full-time report from Matthew Key shortly. 100 minutes gone between Bournemouth, Burnley, Johnny Holmes. 2-1 is the score right now. What's that? Is there going to be a winner?
Oh, they're pushing, Burnley. They're pushing, but they need to get the ball in the box. Passing it about on the edge. They're trying to scramble the ball goalwards. It's a bit of a kitchen sink feel about it, and it's got to be. 100 minutes played. Burnley thought they were level. VAR took an age. It was disallowed. Then they thought they were level again. 2 great chances for Berg within seconds of each other. Can they muster one more up? They're going to get one last roll of the dice. It's going right down to the death, to the 100th minute here. Bournemouth still clinging on. 2-1 to Bournemouth.
101 minutes gone. This is the Premier League at its absolute finest, where both sets of fans can hardly breathe. They're in that much suspense. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1. Back to the La Liga, which is an equal suspense. The El Clasico currently at 1-1. Kane Wiz.
Yeah, some chances again for Real Madrid, and they just keep putting the ball in the box on Marc-Andre ter Stegen, trying to challenge him. And the only really now chance that Barcelona are getting is on counter-attacks. And the person who looks probably the brightest is actually João Cancelo. But as you say, it's all Real Madrid now, peppering the goal. But 86 minutes is still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 1.
And we finally have full time between Bournemouth and Burnley. It has ended 2-1. What a phenomenal game. But Burnley had a chance at the end, Johnny Holmes, which should have put his scores level.
Oh, how have Burnley not levelled to the death? What a game this was. It's finished here. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, but I don't know how that's happened. VAR intervening to deny Burnley a leveller, but they should have given themselves one anyway at several opportunities. Berg with 2 chances, and then right at the end, a shot from distance that's deflected into the arms of the Bournemouth goalkeeper, Radu, who stepped in for the injured Neto, who's done well today, and he clutched the ball gladly. Was there a handball? That was the appeal from every single Burnley supporter in the ground. Not given, waved away, cleared away, full time. I need to catch my breath for a bit, Josh.
Phenomenal game you've just witnessed there, Johnny Holmes. You're a lucky man. Let's get our full-time report from Matthew Key. Sheffield United losing to Arsenal 5-0. What an evening to be an Arsenal fan, Matthew.
Yeah, slightly less dramatic here at the Emirates Stadium. We finished with 5 goals, all for Arsenal, and it's finished Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0. Well, the first hour was the Eddie Nketiah show. The striker who came into the team today for Gabriel Jesus responded brilliantly by scoring a hat-trick, the first 2 typical poacher goals, before completing his hat-trick in fine style from outside the box, right-footed into the top corner to complete a magnificent hat-trick for him. It was 4 with 10 minutes to go when Fabio Vieira was fouled, picked himself up and slotted away the penalty, and icing on the cake was when Takahiro Tomiyasu scored his first Premier League goal of the season, flicking in from a corner. For Arsenal, that lifts them up to 2nd in the Premier League, behind rivals Tottenham. With the same amount of games played now, Arsenal trail their North London rivals by 2 points, and they lead Man City by 3 points now, with City obviously yet to play this weekend. For Sheffield United at the other end, it makes for grim reading, to be honest, Josh. 29 goals conceded in just 10 games this season. Doesn't take a mathematician to work out that's almost 3 a game, only 7 scored. It's just not sustainable in the Premier League. They've only got that solitary point so far, and it looks like it could be a very quick return to the Championship if things don't improve quickly. Fine day for Arsenal in the Premier League, but worrying signs for Sheffield United. It's finished here at the Emirates. Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0.
Stay there, Matthew Key, because I want to ask you a question about Arsenal. But first, we have to go to the El Clasico. 88 minutes as the clock ticks by further, Kane. Still 1-1. What can you tell us?
Great opportunity for Vinicius to win the game, and he bursts through 1v1, but it's an unbelievable slide tackle by Christensen to keep the game at 1-1. So 89 minutes, still Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 1.
Matthew, just a quick word on Arsenal then. 5-0. They just seem to be going from strength to strength this season, beating Manchester City, drawing against Chelsea, come back from 2-0 down. A different air of feel to Arsenal this year, you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like one of the main criticisms last year for Arsenal was they almost came out of the blocks too quickly. If you take sort of a sprinter's analogy, they've gone off really hard at the start and they just couldn't sustain it at the end. And Man City just carried along and caught them up at the end. It feels like Arsenal were trying to do that a bit more this season. This their biggest win of the season so far, eclipsing the 4-0 win they got at home, away at Bournemouth. But yeah, really impressive today. A bit more of the Arsenal that we were used to seeing last year, with some really nice interchange at times. And he wasn't really too influential as a defensive point of view today, but Declan Rice has made such a massive difference to this Arsenal team. He's absolutely brilliant. He's the carrying of the ball, the little interceptions, the little interchanges. It's what West Ham fans have seen for years, and Arsenal fans are certainly seeing it and enjoying it at the moment. He's been absolutely superb for Arsenal, settled in really quickly, and with Thomas Partey out, he's filling those shoes and some. So he's massively key to Arsenal's success, but really good performance from them as they go into a big game next weekend away against Newcastle, which is going to be a massive test for them.
For Arsenal then, like you said, they've got Newcastle, they've got West Ham in the week as well, but Newcastle really is going to be that huge test for them, travelling away to St James's Park. Thank you very much, Matthew Key. Back to the El Clasico, 90 minutes. Kane with... feels like the honours are going to be shared even.
Yeah, well, Real Madrid are still keeping the ball and just popping it about. Carvajal's really trying to get forwards now and create an opportunity. But yeah, we're still waiting to see if there'll be a goal in. So still... yeah, 91st minute is Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 1.
Thank you very much, Kane Wears. We're going to go to Bournemouth. No, we're not going to go to Bournemouth because we have late drama here on Football Live.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's a goal in the El Clasico, and it's Real Madrid who have turned the tie on its head and have snatched it. Kane Wears.
It's Jude Bellingham, that man again. And it just comes from a cross from Carvajal on the right-hand side, who just whips a ball into Jude Bellingham, who's running in. He's onside, and he just then taps it past Marc-Andre ter Stegen. 93 minutes in, it's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 2.
Jude Bellingham, remember the name because you are watching history in the making. We are going to be watching these images, these videos of him in 20, 30 years down the line because he is one special player. He's going to be a player that you tell your kids about and your grandkids about. He is incredible. He is history. He is the future. Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 2. Enjoy it while it lasts, Jude Bellingham, because you are one incredible player at 20 years of age. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? You're just witnessing greatness, and I feel incredibly lucky. I feel incredibly privileged to be a part of this here. The show is going to be ending in 3 minutes, so for now, we're going to get ourselves to Johnny Holmes just to give us our full-time report on Bournemouth v Burnley, which it might not have been the El Clasico, but it certainly lived up to the same standards of it because great football, and in the end, Bournemouth ran out winners.
Yeah, not El Clasico, but certainly a classic at the bottom of the table. But as the dust settles on this one, with Bournemouth getting a 2-1 victory, there's a shame, really, because 3 great goals, one by Charlie Taylor for Burnley to open the scoring, a fantastic volley from the edge of the box. Antoine Semenyo, who was brilliant today, really was a threat throughout for Bournemouth, scored shortly after that goal from Taylor. And then in the second half, a wonderful lob by Philip Billing from distance, 40-plus yards out, to beat the goalkeeper from range. But when we look back on it, and this will rumble on, discussion will centre around the length of time it took to disallow a late equaliser that wasn't to be for Rodriguez and Burnley. I think it was 6 minutes. That's what I counted. The goal scored around the 88th minute and disallowed around the 93rd, 94th. So long to decide on that VAR decision. Must again, after these recent, errors regarding Liverpool, for example, springs to mind, and several others, there's going to be yet more discussion around VAR, which is a shame because it was such a thrilling match. Burnley will go away disappointed. Bournemouth will breathe a huge sigh of relief. 2-1, they win in the end.
Brilliant. Bellingham bruises Barcelona. Those will be the headlines tomorrow, Kane, with just a few short seconds left in that game. Will Bellingham's goal be enough for Real Madrid to get the 3 points?
Yeah, there's about 10 seconds left now when Real Madrid are making a sub. Unbelievable strike by Bellingham to get them on level terms. And then also for that winner there, the movement to get through on that third man run. And the ball from Carvajal looks like it's won the Clasico. Real Madrid are just running down the clock. And as we say, it's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 2.
Full-time scores around today. Then Chelsea lost to Brentford 2-0. Arsenal beat Sheffield United 5-0. Bournemouth beat Burnley 2-1. And coming up at 5:30 is Wolves v Newcastle. Thank you very much to all my team and reporters. Thank you very much to John Kane. And we'll be back tomorrow with Chris Broadwin for more Football Live.
This afternoon's show was presented by Josh Bailey and produced by John Kane. A big thank you to every one of our reporters on the show this afternoon, bringing you all of the action and all of the goals. Football Live is officially sponsored by NairaBet. Football Live returns to Brila FM tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock in the afternoon with Chris Baldwin.